Hey guys, welcome to the Ani-TAY Podcast, episode 6, and joining me today is David.
Hey.
Richard.
Hello.
And our fantastic guest who made it all the way here, Michael.
Hey.
Yeah, and also known as Proton Storm.
Yeah.
Good thing I got that right.
You make it sound so difficult.
Yeah.
It's like you were having to sound it out. Never seen that word before. I understand.
Maybe.
Proton Storm.
Maybe, alright?
What is this proton you speak of?
I don't know, I'll go ask the Japanese.
So, we're recording on the 31st of August 2014, and we're going to be talking, I think, a lot what seems to be the most popular shows this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the most fun ones, but first, let's have Michael introduce himself. So, Michael, if you could, please.
Yeah, okay, so I'm Michael. I started showing up on Ani-TAY like a couple months ago or so. And you guys want like what my 3 favorite shows?
Yeah, so we can judge you.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so my 3 favorite shows. That's tough. I mean, not in any particular order. I would probably say Fate Zero, Future Diary, and then Sword Art Online.
Future Diary. That's brave.
Hells yeah.
Future Diary and Sword Art Online. 2 very different shows.
Well,
There
in
you go.
fairness, Fate Zero would have been a brave choice had Kevin been here. You know, so there's that as well. Playing it with the love.
Oh no, that you're perfectly correct on Mirai Ninki. Absolutely. Any show. Well, no, it's any show that can take. Like basically, you have to remember that a yandere is a villain archetype.
Oh yes.
They're 99.9% of the time they're the bad guys. They kind of have to be by the very definition. And creating a show where the yandere is actually the hero is pretty cool. It's a fun twist on it. They found the one situation where a yandere is not crazy, but actually a vital part of the main character staying alive, which is very cool.
I think Yuno's still pretty crazy, but just
Well, no,
the other
yeah,
kind of crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But the thing is, it's
She's not.
well, it's like, what is it? If everyone really is trying to kill you, you're not paranoid.
Yeah, exactly.
So if everyone is trying to kill him, and so she's killing them first, she's not crazy.
Yeah, you could say she's is it chaos or chaotic lawful or chaotic good? You could
I'd
that
say
in terms of
chaotic
RPG.
neutral.
In the sense of RPGs, of course. And is that, by the way, is that with the inclusion of Mariah, Nikki, Redial, the OVA inclusion?
I like that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I thought did that offer an alternative ending to the series?
No,
It like extended upon the ending of the original show.
Oh, I haven't seen it. It's probably why I still hold it in a sour flavors in my mouth.
Yeah, well, that was the funny thing. Like, I had read the manga before I watched the anime, and so I was just sitting there, and when it got to the end and like the series ended, I was like, whoa, what about the other chapter? There's another chapter after this. I've read it. And this isn't, and I don't mean Redial's manga. I mean, like, the actual normal manga has an extra chapter after that, and I'm like, wait, wow, people gonna be pissed.
I am one of those people. But granted, I haven't seen Redial, so I'm sure it'll change my mind.
Go
Anyway.
yandere or go home.
No. Remember, once you go yandere, you can't go back. Mainly because you're, tied to a bed with your kneecaps broken. But,
Yeah, it's circumstance. It's just circumstance.
But that's so much longer.
It's not as snappy, yeah. Anyway, so for this season, we're going to be talking about some of the most popular animes a lot of people in general talk about and watch. And I think one of the most hyped up this season, and we've been careful about dodging it for the last few episodes, and it's finally time to sink our teeth into it. It's Sword Art Online Season 2, which is apparently they play Gun Girl. Is it Gun Girl?
Gun
Gun
Gale.
Gale Online.
Yeah.
Gun Girl Online, thank you. Right.
Where
this show.
Kirito uses a lightsaber.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a thing.
It's unabashed, at least, At least they're not even pretending. It's just like,
yeah.
Hey, do you hear that? That's a lightsaber sound effect. It is.
Look at how awesome it is.
Yeah. It's like,
It's
lightsabers are awesome, just deal with it. Okay.
I really like female, quote unquote female Kirito more than I like normal Kirito, but that's just me.
Trap Kirito?
Not so much trap, just his sudden change in personality because of his avatar change seems a little bit more fun.
Well, he's playing it.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, I actually had to explain this to someone, and I guess I thought it was apparent, but I mean, yeah, it's not a female avatar, but I've gotten several like people asking me, "Oh, why is he female now?" And I'm like, "Well, he's not.
He
They
just
said
has
that."
long hair.
Yeah,
I was disappointed he wasn't female. In fairness, until I was told, or the anime explicitly explained he's still a guy avatar, I was like, oh come on, you're just playing with us. Like, we all see him as a female.
It's just,
You know?
it's a trap character. They're just messing with you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
well, I disagree. I don't think it's a trap. I think it's just super pretty boy, the extreme.
Really
Super,
feminine. He's
well,
just
yeah, it's
really-
super cute pretty boy. That's what it is. I mean, come on, like how many anime have that character? Wait.
Well,
Up
there's
down?
an entire series based on that type of characters. I mean,
Well,
seems to be
there's an
doing
entire
pretty fine
series
in
based
itself.
on yanderes too, but I think Japan's got all their archetypes covered at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. My sister, she loved the original Sword Art Online, but she won't even touch this new season because just of the hair. Like, she sees it and she's like, I can't stand it.
Long hair. The ultimate
No,
turn-off.
it ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she was saying.
I'm sorry. When
Oh.
somebody's doing backflips, long hair is pretty cool.
Yeah, seriously.
You feel get in the way though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Surely, when you...
This
yeah,
is
you should have
anime.
tied it back
Well,
long ago.
Yeah, I mean, I get a ponytail. I mean, I'm no expert, but you would have thought, maybe a hairband or something.
Ken, what are you not getting about this? Anime.
Well,
Sound
yeah,
it out.
No, but yeah, Sword Art Online. I'm also big fan of Sword Art Online. I really like.
Me too.
I like what it is. I like the fact that it's a very special show, for the very reason that every single story arc can be a vastly different story. The first story arc was a death game. The second story arc was rescue the princess. The third story arc is a murder mystery, cyberpunk murder mystery. And the fact that the show can reinvent itself again and again means that more often than not, it never gets stale.
Yeah, it
If you
feels
don't
refreshing,
like
yeah.
if you don't like ALO, that's fine.
You can
I don't
just jump
particularly
right
like
in.
ALO. But
Not
the
many
good thing
people
is
do.
the next arc is going to be different. It's
Yeah.
gonna be, and I can tell you, using my magical, future reading powers, the second half of Sword Art Online 2 is going to be vastly different to Gale Gun. Total genre shift. It's going to be almost a coming of age slice of life story.
Oh, so it says. Oh, so this, I guess it might be spoilers, but as I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm guessing that Gun Girl is actually a 12-episode arc. Then, from
Yeah.
the sounds of it.
Yeah. we're
Yeah,
doing
there's
Gun Gale.
there's not enough
Oh.
material in Gun Gale for 24.
Oh, okay. So
Because like in the books, Sword Art Online is 2 books, Alfenheim is 2 books, Gun Gale is 2 books.
okay.
And so, that's pretty much how it's been split up so far. And so, yeah, the back half is going to be, like, almost certainly going to be Mother's Rosario, which, like I said, is very different than what we've had. And I think that's actually a strength, not a weakness. And here you go. If you like Asuna, congratulations. Mother's Rosario is nothing but Asuna.
Woo!
It is all about her. Kirito has, like, 3 cameos in the whole story. And he's never the viewpoint character.
I'm guessing this is it during the time of Gun Girl, or is it after? Like,
No,
sequentially
it's
in story?
shortly after.
Yeah, I
Oh,
would say
shortly
so.
after. Okay.
Yeah.
I've not read.
Because
any of the
Asuna
series.
just showed up in this episode, so yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, because we don't see, a lot of the old cast from the old series is cut off,
Yeah.
So I was wondering, I'm assuming the next arc, if they're going to show a lot of Asuna, does that mean it's going to be, running alongside Gun Girl? But I guess not.
No. It's after Gun Gale, but it's more of a real world story. It's basically the story of Asuna trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life after Sword Art Online. Like, what does she want to be? How is her family life affected? It's stuff like that, and also mixed in with some pretty cool stuff inside Alfenheim as they travel into the old world of Sword Art Online in Alfenheim.
I'm on board.
Okay.
But again, total
But-
genre shift. Sorry, there's my sidetrack on why I like
Yeah, as I
Sword
said,
Art
let's
Online
bring
in
the
general.
focus back into the present, which is Sword Art Online 2 and Gun Girl. I'll say this: I'm pretty sure many people have noticed it online, and I'm sure if thanks to them, I also notice it. So the show's got really good trigger discipline. Like, someone did like a collection of screenshots of every time you've seen someone holding a gun, they've all got brilliant trigger discipline. They haven't got their fingers on the trigger. It's always, on by the side of the side of the gun,
Wait. So you mean like? Sorry. Well, I'm trying to figure out if you mean trigger discipline as in sarcastically, as in it's great trigger
really
discipline,
good,
or like actual real.
It's realistically good
Okay.
trigger fingers, and obviously in other mediums or like in general other shows, no one has any. No one gives a shit about.
Finger on trigger at all times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly. Everyone they throw disregard to how to use a gun realistically, because obviously for the sake of movie and effects and such. But in Gun Girl Online, everyone's got really fantastic trigger discipline.
Oh yeah.
So I just thought that's a really nice touch. They actually paid attention to details onto such a small scale like that. Where normally people wouldn't brush it aside and go, oh, doesn't matter. Everyone does anyway. Everyone got their finger on the trigger ready to pull at any second. It's like realistically you don't.
Right.
But
As much as I'll complain about A1 Pictures later, they did quite a good job with a couple of things in this show right here. Firstly, PTSD is kind of portrayed right. Kind of.
It took a while, I thought, but yeah, we got there then.
Well, you see, Sinon is a little bit erring on the edge of not really, but we'll get away from that. And trigger discipline, as you said, is good. It's just they are managing to make this kind of realistic, despite the fact that it's not realistic.
Well, yeah. That's another one of those good things. Like, I really like the story of Gun Gale when it revolves around Shinon and Kirito, because they're both dealing with the fact they've killed people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in self-defense, but they've killed people. And Kirito dealt with it by completely shoving it out of his mind, by staying goal-oriented. First on, gotta get out of Sword Art Online. Then, gotta save Asuna. And now that it's kind of come back into view, he doesn't know how to deal with it. And he can't cope with it properly. And Shion, on the other hand, like, her entire life has basically collapsed because of this one event. And it doesn't help. And this is here you go. Here's Japanese culture thing, okay? In Japan, if you kill someone in self-defense, you're a murderer. Like, society judges you as a murderer. If like, let's say there's this hostage situation, right? And hostage has gun, or the hostage taker has the gun to the hostage's head, and a cop walks in and shoots the hostage taker in the head and saves the hostage. The cop is a murderer, and society will treat the cop as a murderer. And they will treat the children of the cop as like, your mom's a murderer, your dad's a murderer. And that's how they look at it. It's like, oh yeah, and so society basically shuns even killing to save someone. So this girl basically, like, in that context, she's dealing with that, and the fact that she killed someone, and the fact that guns completely terrify her, and the fact that like her mom's face after seeing what her daughter did is haunts her. Yeah, I mean, PTSD, of course, like, absolutely. And being constantly bullied because of it too, even, wow. And the fact that each of them are like, have kind of stumbled into finding another person who really can understand what's going on, that is dealing with the same pain but in a different way. That's good. That's good, deep interpersonal stuff. Also, lightsabers versus sniper rifles. So,
Yeah. I mean, I guess
Pretty
it's just
awesome.
a clash of culture really for us, because obviously, three of us here aren't living in Japan, so we don't really, have the knowledge of of said killings.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was a bit extreme, really. If you kill someone in self-defense, but hey. Yeah,
well, and that's it. That's just the difference between a Western viewpoint and a Japanese viewpoint. It's very much like, oh yeah, no, if you killed somebody, you're a murderer.
Yeah, it vastly changes the experience.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I say that again, they do have justified shoots, or self-defense killings, but just because the law says it's understandable and you're forgiven, that doesn't mean society.
Mean society has.
And especially her being so young, we all know kids are horrible. Like they don't mean to be as horrible as they are, but kids are horrible. And yeah,
Yeah.
so that's that. But man, sometimes when they go into when they up the budget every once in a while in the episodes for the really good action, that is some good looking action, you know?
Oh yeah.
I think was it the last episode? No, it's probably just
Yeah.
the last 2 episodes, probably in general. It's great stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny because you can see the animation quality drop like a rock when it's just them like walking around talking. It is not good quality animation, but who cares if you get the really good stuff at the important parts? Like,
It's
that's
kind of how I
feel.
felt about Knights of Sidonia. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I thought Necessary was fine all around actually, but mainly due to the fact that it's
I
CGI
feel
at the time.
like they had half the frame rate early in the season that they did in the other half. I really do.
To me, it's a slow start. In fairness, Nice Sidonia is a slow burner. I
Yeah,
feel,
yeah,
at
yeah.
the beginning.
But the
yeah,
point is, yeah.
But Michael, so what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the change that they have between genres, sort of, with the whole, like, murder mystery going on. And I honestly, I didn't notice with the post-traumatic stress disorder. I thought they did it really well. I'm not really an expert on that kind of thing, though, but it definitely adds to it now that I know the whole situation in Japan with, murdering people when you're in a bad situation, so...
Yeah, I'm
self-defense
kind
stuff.
of a jerk about this because I have somebody that I know who has PTSD, so don't mind me. I'm just overanalyzing.
Mhm.
When we say there's a shift of genres, I mean, in Sword Art Online, maybe into the 4th arc, maybe it'll have a quick change, but it's still really shown in the, a lot of action, high tension moments in the fight scenes. There's still plenty of that in Meat. It's just slightly flavored differently in the sense that they're fighting for something different is all.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
it's switching archetypes
So,
and stuff each time.
I mean, like, yeah, it's it's maybe a lot of it's the same thing, just like I said, different flavors. But what I really like is that how they still maintain the shift in comedy. Like, it's always still there with Sword Art Online. I mean, it's granted there wasn't too much of it in the last season with being in their attack. Wow, I was gonna say a different series there.
Yeah.
What's it called? Sword Art Online and Elfen Online, where there wasn't
Elfenheim,
really
yeah.
much room. Yeah, there wasn't much room for that sort of space for a laugh or two. Now that Kirito has moved to a new game, they've had a bit of time with their school life and such.
Mhm.
You see a little bit more into every other character and how they're all adjusted life. I feel, which is really nice to see,
Yeah.
and especially with Kirito being in a new avatar as well, it's kind of fun. Like, was it the last episode or two when he's sitting across the table from Sinon, and then he realized that he's directly 180 degrees from each other. So he has this really fun little animation shift where he just shifts his seat along.
Mhm.
I thought that was just really humorous, and especially when you find out that Kirito now drives the moped, I just started laughing for no reason. I just thought, is that Kirito? No, that can't be Kirito.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Kirito.
And that's
That's
another
just
funny thing.
culture.
Yeah, that's another funny thing. Like,
Yeah.
like there are legitimate like biker gangs, like road rash style biker gangs here in Japan, and they all drive mopeds. Like, there's no stigma against mopeds here. Like, you can totally soup up a moped, take off the muffler, put a big seat on it and giant chrome handlebars. Yeah, and people think it's cool, but of course, us growing up, we're like, what? Maybe if you were like born in southern Italy, you might still think it's cool, but
I'm a driver with a car, heart and heart. I think bikers on the roads are hell, but that's just me.
yeah. But yeah, so it's always funny because it plays it like, oh, he drives a moped, that's pretty cool. And there's no way, everyone in the American audience is like, he drives a moped.
Yeah, especially with the whole motif of him wearing black, thinking it's cool still. It just, things that carry on and open up a little bit. I'm just thinking, come on, Kirito, how are you still wearing black, man?
Well, I think it's
it's just-
interesting that the plot in the 3rd arc and Alfheim Online, it's a lot more focused than it was in the 1st arc when they were in Aincrad. And they didn't, I thought maybe with the 3rd arc that it might change a bit, but they kept it focused like the 2nd arc, which I thought was interesting.
Because the original Sword Art Online is far more interesting, like the 1st arc in the Flying Castle, that's focused on world building. That's one of the reasons I really liked it, and yes, called it, one of the smartest anime
yeah.
I've seen in years.
That's the
And it
correct- let's put you
was.
on that.
And
Yeah,
it was.
and that's
Yeah,
the
I
thing,
think
because
it's
it's
fine.
it's very much all about building that world. where and the reason it jumps around is so you can see how the world looks to other people. Yes, we see how Kirito sees it, but then we also see how somebody who's a blacksmith deals with it. We see someone who's just a mid-level character, not concerned with winning or anything else. How does she view it? And then we see how the guilds evolve, and all that stuff. We see how like the world changes and shifts, and how PKing works, and all this stuff. It's very much about exploring the world, the concept, more than it is a straight up adventure story. However, yes, Alfenheim is not that. It's not about world building. It's about save the princess. So it's very straightforward.
Yeah, that sense of
this
urgency.
Is a murder mystery. So it's about who done it, how they done it, who how to catch them.
Who's got the biggest PTSD?
Yeah, who's got the biggest PTSD? Who is the biggest damaged police officer? It's like, I used to be a cop, but now I'm a private detective because of my trauma.
I used to be a tank driver, and oh, sorry, that's later. Okay.
But yeah, sorry. So, but yeah, I mean that's good stuff. That's why Sword Art Online is pretty good and remains pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely helps the fact that the way they start the story is that they keep playing, MMOs or virtual reality games. So there's never the sense that you think, oh my god, how on earth did they just shift locations, or how on earth did they achieve to this like place? Like, how do they get to this resolve of we now have to do this and this rather than we were doing X and B earlier? It's like, well, it makes sense because just playing a game, and a lot of people play different games. A lot of things can happen in different games.
Yep, and new worlds, and that's why all that good stuff.
It seems to seemingly flow into another arc really nice, even if it is different games.
Yep.
But yeah, Sword Art Online though is overall enjoyable. I think it's like probably a steady show that you can watch week in, week out and still expect good level of entertainment in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I never see anything too wrong with it. I mean, unlike some other shows, but hey, it's never too wrong.
All right. So shall we
let's
move
go
on?
Yeah, let's go to Tokyo Ghoul. Now this seemed to be a pretty hyped anime, especially with the label of horror, and I'm always skeptical about horror animes. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
It's not horror. But
oh yeah, well that's always the case of horror anime. But go on. Michael, is that it? Sorry.
I mean, I thought, when they did say horror at first, I didn't think it was going to be like that, and it wasn't, but the very beginning of the first episode, they really make it seem like that's what it's going to be like. Because they have, you guys remember, like, it opens up, and they've spotted a ghoul in one of the buildings, and then, there's blood everywhere, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, perfect setup, really. You see the big bad figure, and then cuts off to a new scene, and you're thinking, oh, everything's all fine and dandy.
Yeah.
Just a perfect setup for horror, you would think. But sorry, carry on.
I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I kind of like how they sort of explore the morality between, ghouls and humans, because ghouls, they have to, eat humans to survive, but is it really bad that they live, because the humans are just, oh, ghouls are terrible, except the ghouls they're sentient people too, they've got the right to live. Just both sides don't really see each other as well as they should.
Yeah, but that's one of the really good things is about the series is you can look at the police officers, especially the white-haired guy.
Yeah.
You can look at him as like this horrible, amoral thing, but there's no communication between humanity and ghouls. None.
No, yeah, exactly.
Like they have no idea how ghoul society works at all, and to them. Yeah, they just see them as like monster murderers. They just go around and kill people, and the idea that any of them want to live a human-esque lifestyle is laughable because by their very definition, they're going to kill people. Like they don't know that there's no way that any humans know that there's groups of ghouls out there who only eat people who are already dead. They have no way to know that. Because if they did know that, then they'd be sitting there at those suicide places ready to ambush any ghouls that came.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? And so they can't even tell them that. It's not like they can be like, oh, yeah, well, actually, we're pretty good. We only, eat people who are already dead. It's like, uh-huh. And where do you do this exactly? What are the biggest suicide points in Japan? Mm-hmm. And so it's one of those things where it's really well built that way because it's not as simple as him just walking up to a person and being like, oh, there's some good people too. You know, there's no context for humanity to understand the ghouls beyond the fact that they kill people.
Yeah.
It's a good conflict because there's no simple solution. So I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. I think Tokyo Ghoul does have a few stumbling blocks though. I mean, but this is just my gripe of it, especially when, you know, the old cliche of, oh, you think he's dead. Oh, he's actually not dead. Especially the scene with the what's he called? Gourmage.
Yeah,
Gourmage.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and the guy with the glasses. This is my total memory coming. That fight scene really grind me a little bit because previous to those episodes, we've seen how easy it is to kill ghouls and how easy it is to kill humans. Yet in that fight scene, they just disregard everything they've shown of how, you know, how powerful a ghoul could be, and this guy is still living after what seems to be the beating of a lifetime and lots of impalements.
Well, yeah, and he was already hurt to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking, oh, really?
Well,
Fine.
see,
you know
what I think that section right there, that fight, was the weakest portion of the entire anime so far, because that's the point where I really got worried about the show, because I suddenly went, wait a minute. So
is
let's
this going to be one of
look
those
at
fighting
this.
animes?
Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute. So the original bad guy has now had a change of heart and wants to join up with the good guys to stop an even bigger bad guy. But both he and the good guy are defeated, but luckily we have this other person who's going to be able to level up to Super Saiyan and be able to beat the bad guy.
Yeah. I felt like they really want to show off this. I think it was quite nice. This idea that they have this ghoul who's willing to throw everything aside for this human. That's the idea, that these are meant to be the what's the word I'm looking for now? This the ideal pairing of how human ghoul should cooperate. You know, the ghoul guy falls in love with the human girl, and you know he's willing to throw everything away. But it just felt like they had to force that in. So they're like, look, how do we get this human girl to be in danger, and so this ghoul guy can save him? It's like, let's just grab that guy and then just have him. You know, that's it.
Yeah,
done.
Especially because everything we see about him before is he seduces women and eats them.
Yeah,
that's what he does, and I find it kind of maybe pretty hard to believe that he is able to be around a girl that long without eating her. You know, that's where my disbelief has problems with that situation. Yeah. But other than that, it was handled relatively well.
Yeah, eventually got over that stumbling block. Well, because
the trick is this, like, we're showing the difference between, like, the different sections of ghoul society. Like, that's what we're exploring, the different echelons of it and the different philosophies. And we have the main character, we have Glasses Guy, I don't remember his name, and the girl, great, yeah, and the girl, because I don't remember her name either. Wow. I should have pulled
Michael,
up a list.
what was the name? Sorry, I think you said one.
Yeah, the ghoul with the glasses, his name's like Nishiki, and the girl is Toka.
Ah, yes, yeah.
Toka, there we go. Of course, yes,
that
Toka.
Sounds about.
Yeah, and
wait, isn't Toka the?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. Well, yeah, and Toka.
Sorry. Yeah.
Because it's all about. Each of them has a pair, right? Toka has her best friend at school. What's the main character's name again?
Kaneki.
Something to do with my name. I know it's my name. It's something with my name.
Kaneki, that's it.
Yeah,
Kaneki. I was going to say Hideki, but I knew that was wrong. Yeah, Kaneki has, and he has his best friend, and then Mr. Glasses Guy has his girl, but they're all trying to, for these people and through these people, live like humans. And it's a struggle, but they're all very much set on that. That's their philosophy. And that's what sets them apart and makes them probably a pretty tight-knit group going forth, because of the fact that they all, even though it's for different reasons, all have, this intense human connection. To the point where they obviously will not feed on this person no matter what, as far as we can tell. Or even more surprising in the Glasses Guy's case, of being able to just eat one, Lay's potato chips can't eat one, but apparently he can take just one bite, which is crazy.
And
I think it's all mental fortitude when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that just shows like how much they care. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a shame how they want to show that conflict is only through what seems to be these massive fights. which is obviously, you know, the encounter with Gourmet, the encounter with the inspectors, and what seems to be from the previews, was it the last few seconds of that episode, the encounter with 11th, is it the 11th ward? Against the 20th ward, it seems. Yeah. And it's, you know, and obviously every time we do these big encounters, they spend maybe an episode or episode and a half having these elaborate fight scenes, you know? And it just felt like, it feels like it is gearing ever so slightly out of what might have been this, you know, what might be great insight into how these two, you know, communities, you know, interact, rather than just big fight scenes and then saying whose philosophy is right and who wins and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
it's slightly gearing to it.
I think I was much more worried about that after Shonen Battle number 1 against the Gourmet, Gourmage. But after that point, like even as we're building up to the battle with the cops, if you're not interested in the battle, you still have all the drama around the Ghoul family, which is good stuff. That's some good stuff. So, and even the fight is that. It's still it's more psychological than it is fighting.
Yeah. No, I really liked that part when they were fighting with the doves, you know, a couple episodes back. I think that was probably the strongest part of the show so far, at least for me.
Yeah. So I think it's doing good there. But what I think the best part is still how the Ghoul factions like work with each other. Nothing is better, in my opinion, than the flashback of Kaneki's Ghoul, the girl that was going to eat him.
Rize.
Her conversation, Rize's conversation with the Gourmage is one of the greatest things I've ever seen, because it just shows how unabashedly evil she is. And how accepting of the fact she's blatantly evil, because it's just the whole thing where he's like, you should join me for dinner, you know, we're having some delicious human, you know, it's a great pedigree, and she's like, dude, we are monsters, we eat people, I eat because it tastes good and feels good, and look, I'm a monster and I accept that. Like, what are you pretending you're like a high society human for?
Exactly. Yeah, it's almost a flip psychology with the human cop saying, "Ha, a ghoul trying to act like a human." It's a ghoul now laughing at another ghoul saying, "Ha, you're gonna try to act like a human as well." It's just like, you know, it's a nice flip of psychology, I thought, with Rize as well.
And she's just blatantly evil and just doesn't care. and I think that's great. It's good that we have her through flashbacks and stuff, like, as such an absolutely horrible character.
I was hoping they would do more with the whole like schizophrenic side of things. You know, when I've noticed there's a few shots where they do like a pan shot, and anytime they find a way to distort the scene, i.e. through looking through a glass, you see this like a frame of Rize's face where Kaneki's face should be in there. I thought, hey, are they going to do something really cool here? Are they going to try some crazy mind tricks going on? But at the moment, you know, we're not there yet, but hopefully. I mean, there's about 3 or 4 like individual scenes I've noticed where it should be his face through like a mirror or through the glass. You see Rize's face.
Yeah, and I think
this could be.
I think they're doing like an internal struggle kind of thing, and Rize is kind of like the dark side, and then Kaneki before he became a ghoul is the good side.
Yeah, but I also like that they haven't played it up like she's trying to mind control him.
Yeah,
because it's not. It's more like she's trying to corrupt him. Like, that's what she's trying to do. She just wants him to binge eat. Like, that's it. It's not like she's trying to take over his body or something like that. No, it's more like she's just sitting there like, God, she's still tasty.
Hungry. She just wants to say, she wants to satiate her hunger really still, even through any means possible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And she certainly has fun messing with him, I think, even in her dead state. But yeah, all around, it's a decent show.
Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul, it's, you know, I think even there are some rough scenes, especially the scene with the little girl's parents. That was actually pretty powerful, I thought.
Oh yeah,
that hurt a lot, actually, I thought.
So much of that, like I said, it is good. Like that right there, that drama, that's some good drama.
That hits home. Yeah, that definitely hits home. And especially, but it's almost like, I felt like the white-haired inspector, I think he played almost too comically bad, that it felt a bit dissonance between his reason of why he's so cruel versus his philosophy against, you know, his idealization against ghouls, where he's like, oh, ghouls should all be dead, when reality he just killed a mother, you know, and a father.
But to him, he doesn't even think it's real. He thinks it's fake. He doesn't.
Yeah,
and he has no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Like, all he knows is like, there's these things that kill people and have harmed him personally. Did you see that? I dodged a spoiler right there. They caught him personally. And yeah, and so yeah, to him, like he can't believe it. Like he doesn't see them as sentient creatures. And honestly, again, because no one has any idea about ghoul society, no humans really do. Why should he believe that they do act like humans and have families and love each other and have emotions? There's absolutely no reason for him to believe that. We're just gifted with the fact that we have Kaneki to follow around.
Yeah, I always just felt like either he's blinded in rage and pain, which is why he decides to ignore the external factors of what is going on, but it could just be simple as that this human society doesn't want to, or just are ignorant to the fact that ghouls are what they are. So let's shift to, we're still staying in the same area, but a slightly different story, which is Zanko no Terror, or Tokyo. Is it Terror in Tokyo?
Terror in Resonance.
Oh, there we go. I knew I was getting something wrong. That's why I have you guys.
Yay! That's why we're here, right?
This is a really, really tight anime. The fact that it's Watanabe directing with Yoko Kanno back with doing music, everyone was up in arms about this anime, saying the next savior. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
I won't say next savior, but I will say that this is the Watanabe hype show, not Space Dandy.
Sadly, not many people knew that.
Yeah. But I'm a little bit behind. I have to catch up on this one actually. But
can you tell me what episode
be careful.
you're on?
Yeah.
This is very important to what's coming.
I think I'm up to 6 or something.
Oh, okay. Then you're fine.
Okay.
Then
I don't know if I've seen the latest episode now. I don't know if I know. Wait, what happened in episode 6? You have to remind me.
Episode 6?
Hell if I know.
The latest episode was in the airport. There.
Okay, I've seen that one, I think. Okay. Yes, I've seen
You don't have to worry about spoilers with me, though.
Okay.
Well,
no. Please say why it's good before I start, please.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially in the early episodes, it was just kind of that dreary, we're following not necessarily the bad guys, because like all things, this is a little morally gray, but we're following kind of the jerks. The guys who are pretty much ruining Japan in some ways. They are ruining the police's lives, yada yada yada. And that's always a kind of good thing to feel. It's kind of like that Code Geass we're following the jerks feeling. And that's really why it's good to me. Although, as you're probably going to mention, the recent episodes have kind of dented that a little bit. A little.
I just want to say, I don't think Lelouch was a jerk. I think he did nothing wrong. But I know
you
what
don't think he was a jerk?
Lelouch.
Lelouch is not a jerk. I think he did
Code
nothing
Geass.
wrong. But I know what you're trying to say, though. Like, it's been so long since everyone's been saying, "When's the next Code Geass?" When we follow an anti-hero, everyone's been looking for that sort of anime since.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before I go in and start tearing this thing apart, Michael,
right.
what you got?
Me?
Okay, well,
Michael,
you go first.
let Michael go and do his thing.
Everybody just get the good out of your system so he
good
can get
out.
the bad out.
Before I tear into it,
All right, I mean,
everyone hold on to something.
I've got to say, I mean, my favorite part, and this is because I'm really into the music kind of things for these shows, is I really loved the soundtrack, and they released the entire thing already, so, I've been playing it a ton, and it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it fits the show really well. Like, they have in episode 4 that motorcycle scene, and they play the track that plays at that point. It really fits, and you really, you're there, and I really appreciate that.
Well, Kano Yoko is a goddess among us. I will never say anything different.
But here comes the difference.
I agree that the music is good and fits the series well. Absolutely.
I agree with that as well.
Music is not a problem I have with this show.
All right. Well, I really like Terror in the sense that it's actually creative enough to be different when directing the maison scene, right? It's the things that they're willing to animate and the angles we are showing. It's actually fresh from anime since the last probably 5 years. I mean, I could be stretching a little bit, but it doesn't feel so stagnant when watching it. I feel like it's something almost new, in the sense of just the way we show things are shown with even just simple as flipping the phone and then looking at it and then looking at through the camera of the phone rather than just They could have, in any other anime, they might have just like shown the phone and then just shown the scene straight off without seeing the phone or through the camera. Stuff like that. Even the scene with the very first episode when they break into the facility, and how everything's shown from the snow to just the snow tracks, all look great. I thought, and it's just when you see something like that, you think this is probably going to be really creative, and it's like almost in that sense of art style rather than ping pong, because ping pong was just so unique last season. But this one felt like it's with that sort of level of art with which just everyone can look into, it's not feel so disgusted by ping pong, so to speak. It felt like, oh my god, this is it. This is what how anime should look, rather than the usual pan shot, character shot, portrait
you're
shot.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Like,
I think,
what, are you saying that Watanabe is a good director? Again, direction
yeah.
is not a problem I have with this show.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's because you have somebody who knows, like, he's a director. He's not like, Bob, you're going to direct this anime this week, which, like, often directors are just chosen by the studio. Like,
yeah, I feel like not many directors in anime now don't get the creative space.
Right, so they just go and they do it. They look at the manga, they look at the thing, they adapt, and they go home. And that's fine.
Watanabe, with Watanabe, is he also was he main writer as well?
I've actually been looking through. I haven't been able to find out if he is the writer.
Because the fact he was able to pick his own music composer, his own writing staff as well, it seems, because I think there's another reunion with another anime person he worked with.
Yeah.
It just shows that he's given freedom to do what he likes, and so far, I think it's really good. It's really enjoyable. But obviously for you, Richard.
Yeah. Okay. Look, again, music I don't have a problem with, and directing I don't have a problem with. It's the writing I have a problem with.
Oh.
And actually, I do have some problems with the directing, but it's all stemming from the writing, not from the actual
Fair enough,
visual organization, if you say.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, here's the problem with it. I was very much on board with this show until the 5th episode. And then the 5th episode came and pretty much destroyed everything that came before it. It really exposed the weakness of the series overall. And basically, the first part of the series was okay. It was just nothing happened. Like, almost nothing happened. It was basically a cycle of riddle, police solve riddle or don't solve riddle, do it again. And there was no character development for Lisa. There was no character development for 9. There was no character development for 12. There was no character development for freaking anyone. It was just we're going through these motions. But it was still intriguing enough that I was willing to wait. And then we got episode 5, which is the big reveal. And, okay, spoilers for everyone. I mean, I think we're pretty safe that we're going to be doing spoilers. But here we go.
Yeah.
But at that point, in episode 5, is where we learn that they are ridiculously against killing people. Like, it's not that they are trying to avoid casualties, it's that they will not allow casualties. And that is a huge, huge difference. Because basically, like we see that 9's the glasses one, right? Yeah. 9 is so adamant about not killing people that he takes an explosion for a stranger, like shields them with his body. That is how focused he is on no collateral damage, no human life collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the idea that he and 12 have a conversation in the first episode about whether to kill Lisa or not is complete BS. It's not a conversation they would have. It would never come up. Like, they would never be like, well, she joins us, so we blow up this bomb in her bag. We see that that's absolutely not an option, never was an option, and the conversation was just there as a directorial trick to make us think they might kill people. So it's a completely out-of-character conversation made solely to trick the audience into thinking that these two characters are worse than they are. And that's BS. That's bad writing and bad directing. And that pisses me off.
Yeah.
So that means every other thing in all those past 5 episodes where it's like, oh, there's this bomb, it might go off and hurt someone. No, it never would have. Mm-hmm. It's all a scam, basically.
Well,
and but despite this, the bombs are real. And we also find out in, I think, 4 or 5 that the bombs are gunpowder bombs. Like, They're TNT, the most volatile freaking explosive you could pick. They're not C4, where I could pick up a block of C4, chuck it at your head, it'd bounce off and nobody would care. This is gunpowder. This is dangerous, volatile stuff. And they leave it unattended for days at a time. What happens if somebody walks into that kitchen in the police station, knocks the thing off the shelf? Lots of people dead, right there. Or how about these things called earthquakes? We get at least a level 4 earthquake every month, often more than that. And that can knock stuff off counters. Like, their whole idea that, like, that they're actually using these real explosives is ludicrous in the extreme. Also, where they place it. Like, they placed one in an apartment building. An abandoned, and it's not abandoned. Like, it was just a room they chose in an apartment building. Anything could have happened to make that bomb go off early and killed all those people. So when we see how much they care about not having collateral damage on one hand, and then see how loose they play it with collateral damage when it comes to the bombs, I can't make the things match up. I can't make the characters seem consistent. That's the first thing. The second thing is, after episode 5, episode 6 should have begun with the series ending. Because they won. It was over. The conspiracy was, like, the entire conspiracy is over by that episode. Because they have so much proof, and the police have so much proof of a conspiracy, and they have just endless chains of evidence, and they just kind of pretend that they don't. So the story can go on. Like, someone shut off the private cell phone towers of at least 3 or 4 major cell phone companies in Japan. There's paperwork involved. It's not like some guy walks in and is like, you need to shut down all your towers, your cell phone towers. And they went, oh, sure, Mr. Dude in a business suit. No, they said, where's your paperwork? And then they submitted the paperwork. And now they have a paper trail to whoever's at the top. Congratulations. Conspiracy blown wide open. Then we have the whoever's in charge of the police. The police go, hey, we found where the bomb is. And they go, the government special task force is going to handle it, right? Oh, that's great. And then the bomb goes off anyway. It's not like one person figured out that the bomb was going to go off. That entire task force of like 50 people knew that where the bomb was and that they had 15 hours to disarm it. There was no excuse for anyone to be nearby. Again, yet another thing that obvious paper trail. Somebody had to order the chief of police to not do it, you know? And you're telling me that out of this task force of good cops, none of them were like, hey, gee, a lot of people almost died for no reason. And then this latest episode with the airport. Are you kidding me? They took over air traffic control and are controlling a plane with a bomb. All these witnesses. It's not like, oh yeah, we had our private force of Air Force engineers involved in our conspiracy, or Air Force airport control volunteers, you know, in our secret conspiracy to do all this. It's so dumb. There's so much evidence. And we have the cop who is disgraced because he blew the whistle on a politician. Like, how after having all this information does he not immediately just go to the media and be like, yeah, on this date I discovered there was a bomb in the subway. It was taken away from us by government operatives. The bomb went off, injuring this many people. It was not disarmed nor stopped in any way. Like, disbelief destroyed. Destroyed.
Maybe they're just so corrupt, you know.
Everybody's in on it.
Yeah, it must be, man.
All levels of the police, except for this one detective and his fat otaku friend. You know,
hey, that's why they're in archives. Right,
they're the only good cops. Everyone else is corrupt in the entire government and media and cell phones and airports.
And it'll be just
isn't that what conspiracy theories look like these days, though?
I guess they just but that's the thing. Like,
David,
they've had, and not to mention when they hacked into the tourism board. You know, we see him shut down, or he just closes his computer while it's being hacked. That means all those windows are open. He still has all the proof that the government was changing the transportation board servers. Like, they have such a ginormous pile of evidence, but it's just like, oh man, we're on the ropes now, you know? She's entered the game. Oh man, how are we gonna deal with this? And I'm just like, guys, don't try to make me think it is a legitimate mystery with real stakes and then pull this, because it doesn't work. So that's my problem with it, is it was actually pretty good up until 5, when they just threw it all out the window. And,
I kind of agree. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean,
I was all prepared to argue about this, but I mean, you're right.
don't get me wrong. If you enjoy this show, that's fine. I'm not saying, like, here's the thing. I've just gone on this whole rant. I do not hate this show. In fact, I think it's pretty good. The problem is when I run into people saying it is the greatest show ever made and it has no flaws and it's absolutely perfect, then I have to go, guys, it's good. And, you know, it's actually worth watching. I don't feel dumber by watching it. I just kind of, it kind of was like, I'm like, oh, this is really a good show. This is great. And now I'm like, it's a okay show. Like, it's dropped to okay. Like, compared to a lot of other shows, it's still pretty good. But it is so far away from perfect here, and it is not a super tight plot, not anymore. And it's still okay, but I guess I'm mostly annoyed by the idea that pedigree equals greatness, and it doesn't. Watanabe is a great director. Kano Yoko is a goddess among us. Just because they're involved in a project does not mean the project is great. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It means we've got talent behind it. But that doesn't somehow make it perfect. And the fact that people latch onto that, you know, again, like I said, if you like the show, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm not saying you're bad or anything. But to me, you know, who for a living looks at this stuff and picks it apart, I felt that it drastically undercut itself. It undercut everything I really liked about it, and I thought was good about it, and just became another kind of, you know, mid-level mystery suspense
I was about to say,
anime.
high concept anime. They said something different there, but yeah, it's really high concept there still.
Yeah. And who knows? Like, who knows? Maybe it'll be interesting enough in the end in its resolutions that I'll be able to forgive most of this. In fact, I would like nothing more than that.
Right. I was just going to say, I have yet to meet the zealot that's crazy about Terra, but I know it's highly praised, but I wouldn't say people calling it perfect now.
Well, people call Space
beforehand
Dandy perfect, so anything can happen.
But yeah. Sorry. So there's my rant on this. But I know a lot of people were confused and angry that I didn't have it on my list, and that's why. If it would have been on the list if I hadn't just watched episode 5.
I guess, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well.
Sorry. There's my hijacking of the cast. I'll go hide in a corner now.
It's fine. So that would then lead us to Akame ga Kill.
Akame ga Kill.
Look, we all established that I'm not going to be dealing with the
Look, we've established that I
pronunciation.
can't read phonetically. No.
Exactly, that too. Alright? I can't read at all. Actually, I don't know why I'm here.
I'm not literate. I don't read the subtitles. I just let the voices manifest inside my soul.
I actually just shut my eyes when I watch the anime and then just imagine the scenes myself, right? Look, I make my own show sometimes.
Feel, don't think.
No. So, I can't believe this show got on. Like, this, I don't really think it's that good anyway. Like,
wait, are you implying this isn't a very good show? Because I'm implying it's not a very good show.
New here. That's something new here, guys. But yeah, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the show, really. For me, it's just like, hey, if we want to be gritty, let's have gore. I'm like, well, apparently that's the thing. If you want to be gritty, you've got to show gore, apparently. So there it is. Have all the gore we want, and it's best when it's definitely censored. That's my favourite kind of gore. So it's just like, it's from gore fest to not even seeing the gore in the end, and then to just massive randomly stringed fights that almost don't seem to mean nothing to me. I just, it's still enjoyable to like a certain degree where I just sit down and just watch it, but I can't really get absorbed into it. I can't really get into the the whole idea of like them murdering. Well, like the whole idea when they kill someone or what happens when they fight other people. It's not really getting into me personally.
I've had trouble keeping up with Akame. I have. Watched like the first 5 seconds of the first episode, put it away for about a week, came back, finished first episode, went away for about 2 weeks. I've had problems keeping up with it as well, so I'm not the best authority here. But I think that does speak a couple of volumes when I say I can't keep up with this show. It's okay.
I know what you're saying.
It's okay, but I do not, and I repeat, I do not go out of my way to go watch it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't think I'm among friends here when I say that I actually kind of like this one. I mean...
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, don't worry. It's perfectly fine to completely disagree with us. If it works for you,
Exactly.
it works for you, and that's
well,
fine.
for me, I understand. Like, I think one of the major complaints that a lot of people have had were like tonal issues. You know, because they kind of fit comedy in spots that maybe it doesn't really fit. For me, I've actually really, really liked that. I mean, when I'm watching it, you know, we get this like big dramatic scene, and then it's sometimes when the comedy's thrown in, it's almost like eerie, if that makes sense. And I've been very interested while I'm watching this show. So,
I mean, there are definite spots where I think, oh yes, this is great, especially with the Justice girl. Like, I really like this idea where they think, where she, you know, she's doing it because it's justice, and it's just blind justice, though. That's the thing. While, you know, the Night Raiders, they're like, it doesn't matter if we're revolutionists or not. We're just assassins. We're murderers. Our names won't go down in history. I'm liking this. Like, yes, this is where I like this to go. And then it's just like jargon shonen crap. And then it's just, and then there's Gore Fest 2014. I'm like, oh, so close.
No.
Yeah.
No, and that's where like I come in. Like I'm very much one of those people who is like is very much against the tonal dissonance that the show has, because what it's doing is it undercuts its drama because of its comedy. And so when you get a scene, especially that first episode, boy, did that set the tone. You know, we see one of his friends, like the girl he probably liked, you know, he's you know been around at least since they were little kids, sees her like brutalized. She's been brutalized, tortured to death, and you know she's dead, hanging there like a slab of meat. His other friend bleeds out in front of him, right? You know, he goes out, gets revenge. You know, he's breaking down. You know, all his best friends in the whole world have just died. And 10 seconds later, comedy. In the same scene. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, well, way to undercut your drama.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like the show's it's stuck in two minds. It wants to also be this, like, you know, really dark tale of a revolution. Okay, cool, I like that. And then it's just switch shows over, and like you said, it breaks everything.
No.
It ruins the whole movie.
and now that's not to say that I don't think you can't have those two things opposed. Like, you can't have comedy and then like brutal violence, seriousness side by side, working with each other against each other, you know, to create something. It's the how quickly it switches.
Yeah.
Because like we'll take something like Brunhilde in the Darkness. That's another one that very much does that, where it's like, oh, happy high school life and harem comedy stuff, and oh, death, you know, brutal, violent death. But the way it plays with it is the characters are trying to force their lives to be happy cliche. Because they know it's crap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it doesn't help with the chibis as well when they have the chibi comedy scenes.
Oh
and,
yeah,
you know,
the end,
the flat faces. Yeah, it's just it doesn't help. You know, when I mean, I like it. Don't get quick thing about it. I think the comedy's good. It's just, you know, it's you can't have jam and mama in the same sandwich. You know, actually, well, you could, but probably.
That actually sounds pretty good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, all right, that's probably a bad example. okay, jam and ham. Oh, how about that, right? You can't have a jam ham sandwich. Can you? Come on, don't tell me you've eaten that.
No.
I'm sure someone's tried it.
Yeah, but it probably didn't taste nice. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Didn't catch on, but
Exactly. There you go.
But yeah. But yeah, no. So there's that. And don't get me wrong. Like, it's gotten better in that regard. Like, I don't feel like that happens as often as it's going on. It's kind of finding a middle ground for it with its tone. Like, it doesn't go from horrible violence to in the same scene next, like, comedy. And now it keeps those two areas pretty separate. Like, their home life is the comedy, their assassin work is brutal violence. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, that got me is, here's where I'm gonna catch flack. The moment it became One Piece. I think
I know what you're about to say. Is it when they said there's 47 pieces
No. I was actually okay with that, because that's just anime.
I wasn't.
Man. Like,
I
that's
nearly
shonen
lost it,
anime.
man.
That's whatever.
It turned too shonen for me.
It was the fight of the Scissors Girl and the Justice Girl, and the Scissors Girl cuts the Justice Girl's arms off, right?
Oh, I know what.
And she has the machine guns grafted inside her arms. She's like, I had this prepared just in case. I'm like, just in case someone cut your arms off, you had major surgery where they replaced your arms with fake arms with machine guns inside, and you just knew that, oh man, if I get my arms cut off, they're going to be cut off at exactly 5 inches past my wrist so that I can use these machine guns properly. And that was dumb. Like, I was already like, that is stupid. That is the dumbest thing. No, and then it decided to one-up me with the gun in her throat. How does she fire it? How does she breathe? How did they get that in there? How does the blowback not, like, make her choke to death? Like, these are all questions constantly running through my head, because it has nothing to do with her weapon. Her weapon is the dog. It has nothing to do with the guns she has implanted in her body. But the whole thing, like, gun in the throat, is where I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is past One Piece levels of absurdity of the strange powers people have, you know? Like, what is this? And that's what got me. That's one thing. The point, and now it's like, oh, I have a ring that controls water. Oh, like, okay, or, like these various magical powers that can do anything. Especially because this is a world that doesn't have magic. I don't know if you've noticed that. There are no mages. There are no magicians. There is no magic spells or alchemy or any of that crap. The only thing that's magic is these 40 weapons. They can apparently do anything.
Well, what I will say about the weapons...
Yet we have guns in throats.
Yeah,
right.
Well, with the weapons, I mean, the idea is they're, danger beasts is what they call them. And they're those, like really ferocious monsters that wander the wilderness. And they're like these great ones from like way back in the Empire's time, there's lifespan or whatever, and they were killed and turned into these weapons. So, I mean, they don't have magic, but I think the idea that these beasts had these abilities, so then the weapons that are made from them had these abilities, I'm okay with that.
Sorry, it's not the weapons I have a problem with. It's that how do you not have magic and not really have a high level of technology, but you're able to put a gun in someone's throat?
Yeah. No,
like,
I agree.
If there was general magic, I could probably deal with that. But so that's the kind of thing where I'm like, okay, that's an iffy thing. What was it? The other thing that gets me is it's trying really hard to make you go, oh, anyone can die, that kind of thing. And my problem with the anyone can die thing is actually who they killed. If you're going to kill a character, you have to ask yourself a very simple question. Will the character's death, is the character dying going to better serve the story than if the character was alive and continuing to develop? So that's what you have to decide. And then they kill the most interesting character in the entire show. And I went... And there is almost no change based on that. It doesn't change how anybody feels. All it does is we get people being sad for an episode. And then they're not sad anymore. And I'm like, okay, if you're just going to kill a person to be like, anybody can die, why did you pick the interesting character and not the tsundere? Whose character development begins and ends with the word tsundere. Like, it would have had
No
the
love.
same effect. Oh, she's dead. We're sad for an episode, and we move on. So I'm kind of... I'm not angry as much as puzzled. Like, what was the point? It doesn't seem to have an effect. It's just like unless they're really trying to go for people die. If that's the point they're trying to reach, okay. People
I mean, from the
die.
latest episode, it seemed like they're gonna be doing. Well, this is what I was saying earlier. When they said they're going to introduce 47 different pieces of the armaments,
Yeah.
I thought that's gonna be 40 different enemies of the week we're gonna see, isn't it? I know it, and then when I think to myself, I thought that's gonna be 40. At least mathematically, let's say 5 to 1 main character from Knight Raider to die. That was my rough estimates.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and I was like, that's definitely gonna happen. And in the moment, when one of them did die, I was just like, well, here it starts. Let's start counting. But obviously, it rapidly changes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of how they're handling a lot of it.
It's I don't know. It's almost like I would say that this is a good show for people who really like typical Shonen Jump manga. Or anime. They like Dragon Ball, they like Naruto, they like Bleach, but they want a little bit more adult in it. They want some
Supposedly,
violence. They want some less talk about how much you're gonna gambaru. That would be the entirety of One Piece. You just gotta gambaru hard enough, and you can do anything. And that's fine. Like, I think it's actually probably a pretty good stepping stone to anime that is outside of the
Comfort zone
Shonen
of
Jump
said.
genre, and that's fine. It's just again, it's another one of these that I'm like, well, it's certainly watchable, but I would not be watching it if it weren't my job.
I know.
That's a good
I don't know
distinction.
why.
Which is an interesting thing. Like,
Yeah.
I would be watching Terror even if it wasn't my job. I would not be watching Akame ga Kill or Akame ga Kill if it was not my job.
Sorry to rain on your parade, Michael.
You know what? It's all right. I'm just gonna accept it.
It's like,
That's
I'm going to
the best
accept that
thing.
you all are wrong and move on. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. Again, just the opinions.
But yeah, I guess it's enjoyable still in the end result though. Like, eventually it gets nice. And there's highlights. There's definitely highlights in the show, but it's a lot to get through. I feel. To get to those highlights.
Well, I'll say this though. I want to do one last thing. At least it has a good pace.
Oh.
I don't feel
okay.
that it drags. I don't feel like I'm watching, like DBZ or Naruto or One Piece, where things could go forever. We're
That's the
moving
benefit.
along. Characters are introduced. They fight. They die or they live. We move on to the next thing. And there's lots going on. You know what I mean? It's not just like group to bad guy, group to bad guy, group to bad guy. There's several groups of bad guys all doing different things with their own little goals in the background while the heroes run from threat to threat. And that's good. That's also really good.
I think that's one of the many benefits of if you're doing a shonen anime and you only have 12 to 24 episodes tops.
Yeah.
You can't stretch out a fight 4 or 5 episodes. Like Cell, mainly Cell or Boo. Yeah, Boo was quite long.
Yeah.
Anyone in Dragon Ball Z,
But yeah.
in fairness.
But yeah, so
yeah.
there we go. There's some good things I like about it. There we go.
Okay.
But yes.
And that leaves us with David's favourite show of the season.
Yay.
God damn it!
It's Aldnoah.Zero. I think I got that one right.
You did.
Yeah. Look at that.
Excuse me while I go punch something.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is another hyped series because of the background or the pedigree behind it,
Yep.
which is Irobochi writing it.
Yep.
Is that
Yeah.
pronounced it right?
Yeah.
I feel
You
like
got
I
it.
did. And I mean personally, I find them okay, but Calafina people were also hyped about when it was announced they were handling the music.
Good.
Yeah, I mean I guess they're not bad, but hey.
Well, I mean,
Aldnoah.Zero.
it's another one of those things. Like, if you're going to get Watanabe and Kano Yoko, then yeah, you're going to get Calafina and Urobochi, and that's that pair.
Really? What's the other? Just
Madoka
what the other-
Magica.
Did she? I was supposed to say, is that the only one they've done together? I can't
think
think
so.
of another one.
I
Oh,
think
okay. I was going to say, did it count as a pair? Just quite
Wait,
yet?
are we talking
I thought Free would be.
like Urobuchi and Calafina? Those guys?
Yeah,
Because they were
yeah,
Fate Zero.
Oh, Fate Zero.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
what
there
if
you
it's
go.
Zero?
It's a thing.
Okay, now it's a thing. Yeah, okay, it's okay. It passes my threshold. So, David, please explain why you love this show so much.
I hate this. I hate this show so much.
I didn't read that. It's not on my
ju-
memo.
Just today,
As if
I
I had a
finally decided to drop the thing. I just cannot take it anymore. It is just so. It does nothing right. Sure, it does everything okay, but it does nothing right. How to best to describe it? I guess we start back at the beginning of the show. The beginning of the show, what it does is it sets up a generic Gundam show. But the problem is, it kept being a generic Gundam show, but it never got to the part where it differentiated itself or did anything.
I've never seen a Gundam show, so for me,
Basically, they have the Martians coming down to the planet. They're gonna destroy everything, and all the Earth forces are getting destroyed. Yada yada yada. It's basically Gundam. The problem is, it doesn't have the writing pedigree to be Gundam, which is ironic.
Okay, dangerous water here for some.
It is dangerous water, but I'm going to vehemently maintain right now that this show has no writing chops to do what it's doing. It is not well written. I have not seen a more faceless cast in years. Inaho, the most faceless guy ever. I can get over that. You know what? Inaho being a super mega badass who has no feelings, sure, why not? But the fact that basically no character has evolved beyond just one-dimensional is unforgivable. I mean, you guys can just toss out names of the characters in the show right now, and I'll just tell you, no, that's one-dimensional.
No, everybody. I won't say that they're one-dimensional, but I will say that they have not developed in the sense that they have changed. No, pretty much everyone is set. Like, they are, I would say that they are not, I'd say they are pre-developed characters.
Yeah, I was going to say, the story doesn't seem like it's going to be one of those plots where we have to see them change to change the plot. I think what we're going to have is what seems to be a machine, and the characters are the cogs to just push the plot forward, and that's all it's going to be. I don't think there won't be too much dynamic change within the characters. If anything, it would just, the cogs will just keep pushing, and the plot will just keep moving onto the end goal of whatever's going to happen. I don't think too much would change, in fairness.
The problem, though, is how many characters they have. Just, there's so many. This show is built like an ensemble show, and ensemble shows can be good. It's just that they don't have the writing chops to have an ensemble cast. In fact, I've gone on the record saying, get that terrorist girl, Inaho, and Slain, make them the three main characters, and boom, you have an awesome show. But the problem is they don't. They try to have this PTSD-ridden teacher character who is a really, really poor representation of PTSD. I'll go right on the record for that one. You've got the captain who hates this teacher. You've got random high school kids. You've got Inaho, Slain, terrorist girl who I can't remember the name
Come
of.
on, David.
The princess.
There's random high school kids in every anime, David.
No, I see what you're
that.
right. You're absolutely correct about this. It is very much ensemble cast. Rather, and you know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think it would be a better show if it focused on
strengths. I think
on Inaho, on Slain, and maybe even more on the princess than they are, and the terrorist girl as well. She's very interesting, actually. She is developing. I'd actually argue as a character she is in the process of development.
Only in this last episode, although again I have certain reservations about this sudden onset PTSD that they're trying to push, but I honestly think that this could be a great show if they just had Slain, Inaho, and the terrorist girl as the main characters. That is a brilliant trifecta, and you could have run with that one. You could have run with that one for like 24 episodes. But it doesn't have the writing chops to do what it's doing, and it's hurting the show a lot.
All right, let's see here. Allow me to rebut.
Of course.
And I'll rebut, but first I'll say this. Remember, it's 24 episodes, not 12.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things where that means we haven't hit the midway point, which is where Urabochi tends to shine.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because that's where he's able to throw the twist. And don't get me wrong, some of his shows don't have twists, and or have very minor twists, and they're still pretty good. He's not M. Night Shyamalan, but well, I'm not gonna. But usually I think that's usually where he really gets going. So I mean, that's a thing. I would certainly be much harder on this series if it was only 12 episodes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because hell, for all we know, we'll hit the halfway point and it will become the show you think it should be. Where vast majority of the cast is just wiped out. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But that said, this is what it is. This is how it differentiates from Gundam. It differentiates from Gundam with the simple fact that the heroes don't have a Gundam.
Well, they did. It just kind of ran into problems this last episode.
Well, no, that's what I mean. The heroes just don't have a Gundam at all. Like the main character, he is piloting actually a suit weaker than the mass production models. He is piloting a training suit. It is a piece of crap. And that's the trick, is it's about, it's basically the guys with the Gundams, the bad guys with the Gundams, land on Earth, expect absolutely no resistance, and it's their arrogance that is their downfall. It's him being slightly more intelligent than the average person, and them being arrogant to the point of stupidity. And basically it's how he outthinks them because they're so certain that they are superior. It's basically the 8th MS team in a lot of ways. And I think that's the show's strongest point is humanity is vastly overmatched. I'd be surprised. I don't think this is going to be one where they turn the war around miraculously. And every episode,
I think they're going to colony drop the Earth or something, but let's just move on.
But every episode the fact that he doesn't have a Gundam, and yet we're slowly getting this thing where people are starting to be like, that man with his special orange mobile suit, and it's not. It's like they haven't even bothered to learn about the enemy mobile suits at all. Like the Martians, they're like, that one's orange. There must be something special about it. Like, that's as far as they go. That's how little they care.
Yeah.
I think actually, the politics within the Martians is relatively.
Oh no! Don't bring that up.
And not.
Okay.
I understand the whole monarchy thing. Understand I haven't.
It only got worse in the last episode. Just don't bring it up.
Yeah, but you understand I haven't seen Code Geass because it was
Code
released
Geass.
between the years of 2006 and 2011, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I can't really comment on the comparisons people make between them.
I wouldn't compare them at all.
Well, who was it? Somebody was talking on the cast maybe a while ago about the monarchy and how it works in Code Geass, but it doesn't work in Aldnoah.
Oh yeah. I think I was the one who brought that up. Actually,
again, I can't comment.
Yeah.
But I like the fractured nature of the Mars Empire. I like the idea that the mobile suits are like the Gundams are basically the ultimate in status and power. Because each is pretty much considered to be invincible. I thought that was interesting. I like exploring their society, and how it's evolved. Basically, I like Slane's. You're right. Slane's probably the most interesting character.
Although he's been taking hits with me over the last episode.
Yeah.
This last episode really was the last nail in the coffin for me. But I'll secede the floor again.
But how do I put it? So a lot of it, for me, I like smart characters. So I really like Inaho because of that. I'm interested to learn why he's so emotionless. Being emotionless doesn't bother me. I want to know why. Because even before the show started, he was like that.
Yeah.
So it's but remember, as emotionless as we say he is. He does react to his friend's death in the first or second episode.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't react in the way you or I would expect. His reaction is he shuts the emotion completely down.
Yeah.
He goes from this shocked disbelief immediately to lock it all down, and hasn't come out of that since. And that's and yet at the same time, you know, he clearly is having at least some sort of interest in the princess. And it's going to be interesting what happens as he's trying to keep his emotions locked down, but is, you know, becoming closer with her. I think that'll be an interesting thing. I think we'll get character development out of that. I also wouldn't be surprised if in one episode the assassin girl just shoots the princess in the head mid.
Hang on. Wait a second. Who hasn't seen the latest episode here?
I have not.
I saw
I
the first
haven't.
half of it.
You've seen the first. Okay.
Sorry, it was late. It was late. Okay, it was.
Yeah,
it
all
was
right,
on
all
at
right.
12:30 at night here. So.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I haven't seen it, but I'm British.
So,
Okay. A couple of the last few comments have made me think that some people haven't seen this latest episode the whole way through.
No.
All
So
right.
none of us have, I guess.
No.
Okay.
So maybe our tune will be completely different. Tune
Yeah,
into
that's
the
what I said,
podcast
I mean-
notes to see our retractions on Aldnoah.Zero.
Because the last
they were there.
minute or so of this last episode made me want to punch something.
One of
Okay.
those. Well, anyway, that's why I've been enjoying it so far, because it's kind of, it's not anti-Gundam, it's twist on Gundam. I can't think of another series where bad guys have Gundams, good guys don't have Gundams of any sort.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's like the closest is 8th MS Team, but even in 8th MS Team, they almost have Gundams. Like their mobile suits aren't balls, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're actually legit almost Gundams. So
Fair enough.
without the like Gundanium basically.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Michael? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. You know, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to let these two have their argument
Yeah,
before I
but
jump
no,
in. I don't want to
no.
get murdered, so...
Here
yeah,
you
well,
are.
for me, the two things that I found really interesting about the show is I definitely liked how there's the political intrigue, which I know that we've kind of talked about this, but I liked that the enemy, they don't, like, everyone in the Varys Empire, they do not want the same thing. And I thought that was interesting, and I think that, you know, there could be more than two sides by the time the show's over. And the other thing that I liked is and I haven't really seen Gundam either, but I really liked the fights, because each of the Mars Knights, they have their different suits, and then they're completely different from each other, and they all have like different ways that they work, and they have to find ways to beat the suits by, you know, like, you know, for the first suit, its disadvantage is it's got this like invincible field, but he can't see directly through it. So the best way to beat the guy is to, you know, make it so the cameras that are flying above him can't see the battle. And I think that kind of like interesting, those fight scenes, that's what's been keeping me watching the show.
Smart characters are fun to watch.
Especially when they're impossible deductions. I thought when it came to these conclusions, I was like, that's pretty, you know, far out. But hey, they got it. So.
Actually, though, that's kind of the funny thing with Aldnoah is I've been pretty much right along with the main character. Like when I was looking at that field, like and what it was doing, I was like, that's odd, you know. Like although my way of killing him was a lot meaner. That was get him on a bridge over water, and blow up the bridge beneath him so he falls into the middle of the earth. Or if he turns off the field, he's trapped under water, like effectively taken out of the game for a long portion of the time.
Well, I went on the Skype chat for Ani-TAY earlier, and I said this. I said the only thing that I've found redeeming about Aldnoah.Zero thus far, really, has been that it never actually sounded like an idiot. It always came up with these really good explanations for all this stupid stuff that they were doing. But even this last episode made me have problems with that.
Internal consistency.
Right.
It is a lot can be forgiven. Like I know people who have ranted and raved at me, like, how can you like Kill a Kill and not like Space Dandy? And I say things. I basically say, well, you see, Kill a Kill is internally consistent from episode 1. Like something like Kill a Kill, like from episode 1. Everything is consistent. Like it's, yes, we have costumes that transform. That is a well-established fact, and we're gonna run with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like I don't have a problem when that's the concept we lay down. So yeah, like that's the kind of thing. It's like, yeah, they're both over-the-top shows, but one is very internally consistent, and the other is Space Dandy.
Oh, there you go. just on a side note, then before we leave, I always do this thing before I watch a new anime. I kind of media block myself out of it. All I just do is read a synopsis. I didn't actually expect Aldnoah.Zero to be a mecha show. I just thought it might be really cool. Like what's the show called now? I really wish I brought it up before. The one where it's the one we're in space and it's a realistic portrayal of space. Oh, jeez, now. I'm sure I'll come back to it. Sure, come to me later.
The one where they pick up trash or something? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I don't remember what that's
space
called.
Debris.
The guys who pick up all the space debris, and it's just like a hardcore take on. Yeah, you have to have someone go up there to pick up the trash out of space.
yeah. But yeah, I thought it's gonna be one of those shows, and then them trying to do an exploration theme on what happened if we found technology that wasn't ours, really advanced technology, because they said that in the description. I remember them saying they found something on the moon. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I can get behind this. And then next thing you know, I'm watching this, like a bunch of high school kids like running around on mechs. I was like, oh, okay, well then. And from the sounds of it, yes, I'm not a big mech fan, but
wait, you're not? Mr. No. Captain Earth is the greatest thing ever invented.
No. Well, I just
okay. Hold on a second. Real mecha fans are not going to say that about Captain Earth.
I just said it's really well it's a good looking mech fan, and almost makes me become one.
Hold up, I got to get some marshmallows to roast over that burn.
Look, I'm still watching that show. It's still fun. I still think it's okay to watch.
I am the resident mecha snob. I have been watching mecha for years, so I'm gonna pass judgment pretty hardcore on a lot of these shows, like Aldnoah.Zero for being a poor mecha show.
Well, by the way, just for it was planets I was thinking of. I really like planets, and I thought, oh sweet, it's gonna be like a Urobuchi style planets. Yeah, I'm in for it. And as I get mechs, I'm like,
oh
okay,
no, it's Urobuchi Gundam. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
I was like, okay, well, Gundam's fine, whatever. Okay, but that was a side. I always do that. Okay. But so that was our take on the airing shows this season of the most popular shows. And as you can tell, we're not the biggest fans of the most popular shows. So
damn it, Aldnoah.Zero.
Look, so we thought we'll do this again. And I think this is an open topic because one, I forgot. And two, it's probably better that way, in fairness, now I think about it. And we're going to talk about shows that from the past that were really popular and all highly praised. And then, personally for us individually, we didn't all agree to this, but individually we all said to ourselves, this is actually pretty terrible. And let's go for Richard to go first.
Okay. My pick for like highly praised, it's not even highly praised, it's also very popular.
There's some corners they'll say it's highly praised.
Yeah, maybe corners. So. But my pick is Naruto. And when Naruto started, I very much enjoyed it.
I'm in the same boat.
It was definitely in the kind of low magic ninja arts, basically. So low magic setting, pretty down to earth, but with kind of some mystical ninja techniques. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And then of course it got more and more insane and extreme, and I was still, I was like, well, it's not what I thought it was going to be, but it's okay, sure, I'll keep watching. There was nothing, and so I'd sometimes watch or I'd read the manga. I was kind of going back and forth between, and then I remember the exact moment where I was just like, well, I'm done with this, and at the end, like near the end, right before the time skip of Naruto.
Okay, you could probably say spoilers, it's fine,
yeah.
I think.
So right between the time skip, Sasuke's being carried in a barrel where he's going to be transformed into his new evil form, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Five ninjas who nobody cares about now have all previously been transformed into their super forms. So they're all super powerful, right? And they're carrying the barrel / escorting the barrel to what's the bad guy? Orochimaru? Is that his name?
Yeah. I still remember it clearly.
Yeah. So Orochimaru, they're escorting him, right? And they're running through the woods or whatever. And Naruto has very little time to enact what he believes is a rescue of Sasuke. He doesn't know that Sasuke went on his own free will. And so he grabs basically random team of people to go with him, which is actually very cool. It's Neji?
It's like a ragtag team.
It's Neji, the
Neji,
shadow
Neji.
guy, the fat guy, and Rock Lee. And,
Oh, Shikamaru is the shadow guy. Just I thought I'd correct you on that.
No, that's fine. Again, this has been years. There's years since I've had anything to do with Naruto.
That's all right. Yeah, I still remember somehow.
Wow, like half a decade, or more than that, like 7 or 8 years since I've had anything to do with Naruto. And but so they're doing this, and basically what it ends up happening is, as you would expect, as Naruto grabs 5 people to fight the 5 bad guys, they pair off, right? And one by one pair off. It's like, oh, I'll take care of this guy. You keep chasing the barrel, and so on and so forth.
It was kind of cool.
And that's fine. Cool. Like, I have no problem with that. Yeah. Just because it's a common thing for shonen doesn't mean it's bad. I was like, all right, let's see some fights. Like, these are some characters we haven't really seen fight very often before.
Yeah, we saw a glimpse during the, I think it was at the tuning exams, and that's all we saw, with like very small glimpse.
But we don't know how powerful some of them really are.
That's what we want.
And so I was like, all right, yeah, we got this. This'll be interesting, if nothing else. But every one of those fights ends with the good guy going, I can win this, but I will have to use my special move. And if I use this move, it will kill me. Every one of them. So, and so it's like, Rock Lee's like, I'll have to open the 9th gate. Or Fatty McFatterson is like, I will have to eat this magical pill, but it'll kill me. And I think even Neji's like, I will use super special eyes that will kill me. And I'm like, okay. Pop quiz to anyone who's read Naruto. How many people die, how many good guys die because they use their super special move that's definitely going to kill them, I promise, really, really, really?
None. I would say none.
None.
To my knowledge.
Absolutely none.
Wait. One did die in Shippuden, but I don't know if that counts.
No, I mean at that point, and I was like,
oh, okay, definitely no one.
Right, and at that point I went, that threw me completely out. These were not super popular characters. That was kind of the point. They were the B team.
Yeah.
These were not Sakura. These were not, any of this stuff. And
we weren't introduced till now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't Gaara. This isn't Sasuke. This isn't Sakura.
It's Team 8 and Team 9 and Team 10.
Exactly. Like, these are, the side characters, and who if they died, it would show real danger, but at the same time wouldn't completely derail the overall plot. And the fact that they're all like, I'm going to die because I'm going to do this move, and then they all do their special moves and none of them die, was the point where I went, this is a problem. This is a show where every character, including the rower, the guy who rows a boat in one episode, is so unbelievably popular and has such a fan base that they are afraid to kill any of them because of their fan bases. Because that is what it is. It's all about pandering to your fan base. And, people like this character, so this character is safe. And at that point, all sense of danger, all sense of conflict, all sense of tension left the series for me. And I tried to read on. I read on maybe like a couple chapters into the 1 year jump.
Okay, yeah.
But or whatever, how many ever years? I don't know how many it was. And then I was like, no, there is still zero tension. I believe that everyone is safe. I believe that nothing can stop Naruto. I believe in the end it's all going to work out fine. And there's never a moment where I question that, where I think that there might be real danger. This is no longer worth watching, no longer worth reading. And that's when I stopped with it. And I know people still rant and rave about stuff that's gone on since. But to me, that's the point where the show completely lost me. Now, granted, I actually do know that a main character, or one of those supporting characters, has been killed since.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've been told one's finally dead. I'm like, that took a while. That took a very long time.
At that point, if I had been reading it, it would have actually genuinely shocked me. Because I was so sure that nothing would have. But the fact of the matter is, it already at that point had turned me off to the point where I was just like, why am I reading that everything, like, look, we all know the good guys are going to win, right? That's kind of the point. Very, very, very rarely do the bad guys win in a show, in an anime. Although it does happen occasionally. And, but the thing is, if a show is good enough, it tricks us into believing, even for a moment, that the good guys might not win. That's how you know a show is good.
Mm-hmm.
And where you forget that you know they're safe. But with Naruto, I couldn't forget anymore. I couldn't get into it enough anymore. And yeah, so that is why that very, very popular to this day show is something I cannot watch. Well, I can't read, can't watch, because
It's
it's got nothing. It's got nothing for me anymore.
I mean, in its defense, I mean, because I know eventually when it does finish, I don't know why, but I'm gonna eventually finish it. Like, I feel like I should. It's one of those stories I feel like after watching the first entire 300 episodes, I feel like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's see if Sasuke does come back to the village. Who knows, all right? But I think one thing for granted that, you know, if you do watch Naruto, I feel like even if there is 500 episodes plus and there's a lot of filler, there's actually some good content in there. Like, even if it's like 20, 30 episodes per every 100 filler, there's actually some nice arcs there. You know, Pain's arc was alright, I remember, to a certain degree. So one of the Akatsuki's was okay to watch them fight. It's actually really good. And with Naruto, you always know you're going to get really high level of animation and really good fight choreography. Like, it's really, it's always going to be good. And
oh yeah, but
in that sense,
as a rebuttal, 1 hour of good material does not justify 60 hours of nothing.
Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is like people tell me, oh well, One Piece, you know, it takes about 80 episodes to get going, and I'm like, no one should be expected to slog through 80 episodes for it to get good. Like,
well,
now, if you do, and you enjoy it, more power to you. But I don't have the time nor the inclination.
Yeah. But hey, Naruto did start off good. I actually thought the first, was it 2 or 3 arcs, were actually really good.
They are. They're actually fantastic.
I think people say that was because they were following established arcs and they were trying to get it over with fast, and then after that it became filler. That's what I've always heard.
Like, I didn't realize that it was filler from episode 60 onwards. I was like, wait a minute. It was a 300 episode series, and episode 61 is filler onwards to 300. You could have told me. God damn it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, the filler is always going to be worse than the main story, but that's just because the filler can't have any lasting effect by very definition, because then it would contradict the manga. You know, and whatever. But even if we just follow the manga, like, and skip all filler,
yeah. I mean, like, in the end, I still feel like, you know, like you said, it's probably not enough to justify to watch it, but it's still, you know, if you can get through the filler, or just dodge it, just like look up a wiki and just like find out, oh, this is Adventures at Sea, probably a filler, you know, skip that entire arc. But even if you watch the filler, you know, even they're actually still really highly quality made, you know, animation and fights, and you still get the really nice comedy episodes that they play around with the character, because they have this freedom to do that, you know, unlike some anime. So it's very shonen, obviously, but I reckon in the end, it's, you know, something's going to happen in the end that will make it worth watching all the way to the end. Who knows? I don't know.
You're such an optimist.
Again, look, I don't know. Maybe, after watching Pains, because I stopped after Pain because there was further like chaos, I was like, no, I'm not a part of that. It's quite good. Watching Pain's arc was fun. So who knows? Next after they're doing the Great Ninja War or whatever they call it, you know, we see Death again. It might be good again. Past that.
Oh, but I will say, I am with you. When the manga ends, I will probably pick it back up and continue on from where I quit. Same thing with Bleach. When Bleach ends,
I heard Bleach is never ending on the manga. I heard that apparently they're going to drag that out. That's what I've been told.
I'm sure they will. But yeah, that's another one that I quit. But I actually quit that one for a completely different reason. I quit that one because of the idea of, like, when it got to, like, when they exposed Aizen as the bad guy at the end of the first major arc, it was clear that was where the show, or that was where the manga was supposed to end. They were supposed to have the final battle against Aizen, and that was going to be the end. But unfortunately for Bleach, it got popular.
All right, yeah.
And that meant it was going to keep going. So basically, I got to that point, and I was like, oh no, they killed Aizen, the end. Huh, good manga. I really enjoyed it. and then I moved on with my life. Yeah.
And then we move on to David's pick.
Yep.
I actually don't know what your pick was. There.
Well, as of right now, my pick is Gundam Wing, which
Okay.
which a lot of people hold very dear to their hearts, especially from like the Toonami era of anime here in the United States, because it was like the only thing that they had on that was mecha. And it's fine to like Gundam Wing. It is fine to like it. The problem is, it's not great. It's actually probably one of the worst Gundam shows.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Can't say I've seen it. So
As a
no
person
comment.
who's seen an awful lot of Gundam, and I'm very big on the AU Gundams.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I'm not as big on the UC Gundams, but
I never was much of a fan of UC.
I'm all about the AU Gundams. So,
For those of you in the audience who didn't understand that lingo right there, UC refers to the original Gundam arc, which, was the original Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta, Victory. All those
So
are
all
all in
that
the same
timeline.
Continuity. Whereas when G Gundam came out, they established a new thing where they had alternate universes, which had no relation to UC whatsoever. And those are the AUs. So,
and so that's Wing, that's X, that's C, that's 00, that's
This one's
Age.
Unicorn.
Unicorn's UC. It's the end of
Okay.
UC. It's
Yeah.
the final.
Alright.
UC
I don't know. I'm just
story.
saying random Gundams. I've
And
heard.
then depending on interpretation, Turna Gundam. But
Turn of Gundam's weird because it could be anything.
yeah, they made that one kind of weird. So basically, the general audience, like the United States, has only seen like Gundam Wing or parts of Gundam Wing, and that's why they think it's good because it's giant robots and these cool characters, and you're like, but Gundam Seed was better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There are just a lot of problems with Gundam Wing. Chief among which was it looked cool, but the story was so long-winded, melodramatic, and the characters were just so. How do you describe them exactly? They're
Bland.
just I guess that's it. I mean, I can't even recall most of their names because it's been a little while since I've last seen it. But I think name is Hiro.
Yep, main character hero.
Okay, yeah. Everyone loves this guy, especially the female population, and most of us just look at him and go, "No, that's bland." He's like Inaho, if Inaho had absolutely no redeeming qualities, and was melodramatic.
Yeah, they're very similar characters. It's like in outward appearance.
Yeah,
Heroes
so
are weird. Like the thing about Gundam Wing is a very meandering anime. It doesn't like it starts off and it's like, oh, they're doing terrorist actions against the government in their Gundams, except they're all working at cross purposes to one another.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing is getting done.
Oh, you have a big Gundam. Oh, okay. Well, they know nothing about each other, and there's no coordination whatsoever. And when they do come across each other, their immediate instinct is to point guns at each other because they don't know each other exist.
Yeah, so they're all it's a clusterfuck. That's what it is, and that goes on for a really long time.
Where this could have been a lot better if they were part of a team, like say 00 Gundam or 00 Gundam, however you want to say it.
00 Gundam is okay. No,
Extremely melodramatic, but it was a better interpretation of this idea. I'm gonna say that.
I am so on the other side of the fence. I will watch Gundam Wing any day of the week. I will watch it in marathon for the rest of my life before I will watch Gundam 00 again.
All right, well,
there you go.
okay, contention in the ranks again.
But that's just that's a story thing for another time. But I will say like honestly, when it comes to Wing, and this is kind of odd for me to say, I think if you start at like episode 36, which is there's a short time jump where it starts with like Trey's unmasked, sitting in a bar, being approached by the White Fang. Mm-hmm. Like if you treat that as the beginning of the show and go to the end, which is like 10, 11 episodes, it's a pretty good show. Mm-hmm. It's a
clear direction. It's going somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically just the story of a guy who is tired of war, who wants to be a pacifist, but the world won't let him be a pacifist.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to become the worst villain in all of history, kill millions upon millions of people and make a war so horrible that no one will ever want to war again. That's a cool idea. That a good man does this. You know, like, that's the point. That he wants to make it so that people are pacifists just because they have seen how bad the alternative can be. And it's a messed up idea, but it makes for a good conflict between him as the villain and the Gundam pilots, who are united at that point as the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds pretty cool, actually. I would watch that.
Yeah, no, very good ending. Very good final arc when it comes to...
Especially when you add in, are you adding Endless Waltz into this little thing right here?
Yeah. And
yeah,
Endless
that
Waltz,
was great stuff. That was great stuff right near the end.
Yeah.
It's
because
just that...
Endless Waltz is his redemption, basically.
Uh-huh.
How can...
And so, yeah, no, it's exactly that. Like, if you want to tell... Like, that is fantastic. That is actually pretty damn good all the way through. It's a good mecha show if you start at, like, episode 36. The problem is everything before that is aimless wandering and battles that make no sense.
Heroes staring at the camera, all angsty.
And the world's worst self-destruct device ever. I just gotta... I never get past that. Like, you have to understand, in Gundam... Early on in Gundam Wing, like, Hero opens his cockpit, pushes the self-destruct... So he's still technically on the Gundam.
He's standing in the doorway.
Yeah, in the doorway of his mobile suit, right? Presses the self-destruct, lives through it. That is the worst self-destruct ever.
He gets blown off. He gets blown off of it, and there's still pieces left after this. So the self-destruct has failed in its mission right there too.
Yeah, it's like, what did it do? Minorly inconvenience people who wanted to rebuild it, I guess.
Which then becomes a plot point later because they pick up all the pieces and they're like, "Hey, we can do stuff with this."
Yeah, it was just so funny. It
Oh,
was like the worst. Like, but that gets it. Oh, that we get his whole rehabilitation arc.
Oh, I need to get myself a new Gundam. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hey, look at that, a new Gundam.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
It is.
Sounds a lot of fun.
It's not very good.
It's held in a lot of
It's not very
steam.
good.
It is held in a lot, and I mean a lot of esteem by a lot of American fans and stuff. And everyone's saying, "Oh, you should watch Gundam Wing. Oh, you should do." No, just go watch Gundam Seed. Richard put it best. It's all of the best UC moments all stacked into one series, and it makes you feel awesome.
Yeah. Like that's
Okay.
that's why Gundam Seed is fantastic. Yeah, they like, if you are a hardcore UC person, you probably don't like Gundam Seed very much because you've seen it before. The problem is, if you watch all through UC, you have to suffer through some utter crap series.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see, like, the best part of those worst series, like, put into Gundam Seed and actually work really well.
Fantastic.
Is great. Like,
All right.
so, that's what I always say. If you're gonna watch Gundam, if you're new to Gundam, don't start with Wing. Start with Seed.
You gotta start with Seed.
And you're gonna be feeling pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And
Is
from
that
what you
did they
like in
remaster that
Seed,
one?
we can tell you. You know, a Gundam fan can tell you where to go to get more of what you like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that the one they remastered recently?
Yes.
The last year or so?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so they remastered Seed. Okay, cool. Just sign up before we leave on Gundam. Which Gundam is it that... I saw this picture, I frowned and I cried a little bit. There was a Gundam that had a cloak in space. Like,
G Gundam.
Actual...
Oh,
Is
no,
it-
there's several. V Gundam, Crossbones Gundam,
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
God. I thought that
Sandrock
was so
Gundam, and
stupid.
Gundam Wing. Also,
Well, it depends.
as
How ridiculous did it look?
That's so stupid, I thought. I just thought, I can't watch Gundam. This is why I don't watch Gundam.
Because
That's what I said to myself.
If it looked ridiculous, then it was G Gundam.
Oh yeah, G Gundam had cloaks all over the place. Remember the American Gundam. You have to remember the American Gundam.
Remember American Gundam.
Dude, it has cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, okay?
Oh, man, this is
On the
why I don't
Gundam.
watch
Sorry,
that
G
so
Gundam.
much.
G Gundam might be the dumbest thing ever put on film. It is just terrible. It is like racial, or it's country stereotypes. The anime with the giant robots.
Oh, wait,
The
I thought
Grease
that was
Gundam
Italia.
has Gundam horses, okay? Because it's in a chariot, okay?
So bad, actually. That hurts
Like-
my brain.
Like,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God,
So you can
G
serve it all
Gundam.
over again. Why does mechs have skateboards? Oh, no.
You're gonna invoke the wrath of the fanboys. But then again, we're already doing that, aren't we?
That's pretty much
Yeah.
this entire segment is that. But
It's just her
but again,
statement
like I
fan
said,
base
there's
would be
stuff to like about Gundam Wing. There really
Just-
is.
You have
but
to wait
it's
for
not. It's not. The only reason Gundam Wing is popular at all in the West is because it was the first.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
You know, it was the first big mech show in America since the mid 80s.
Yeah.
So it had 10 years of people who had never seen a mech show suddenly tuning in and seeing Gundam Wing.
And Gundam Wing had nice Gundam designs, and I think we can leave off
that's
on
true.
that.
And it looks
something.
real nice. Like, it actually is a very visually pleasing Gundam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That will then lead to Michael. What was your anime that you weren't a
boy.
big fan of?
Okay, so now I've come out of my long time of silence.
Yeah. We didn't watch Gundam Wing, so
Yeah.
what can we say, right?
Yeah,
We didn't watch
to,
Gundam Wing.
to drop the bomb that my choice is Attack on Titan.
Support.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So
Attack on Titan.
as long as I want to start. Is it okay if I start with something very spoilery? Can we?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right. Okay.
we
So
would
yeah,
have to-
spoilers ahead. Skip the next minute or so if you don't want to hear about it. But my biggest problem with Attack on Titan is there's this idea that no one is safe and people are just gonna die all the time, and no one in the main
dies?
cast dies. Like
Yeah!
it's literally like Marco dies. Okay, he was one of like the trainees, but he's like one of the minor ones, and his only purpose was really to make Gene feel better about himself for a few minutes until he dies, of course. And then
Let's not forget. Let's just kill off all of the extras in that one episode.
And then
To be
Levi's
fair, I didn't even
squad.
know that there were extras.
Levi's squad. What I hated about that is that was an emotional death period in time in the show, but they all died in about 5 minutes, and I was like, you killed 5 decent characters, and I don't really know how to feel right now. I just didn't see the point in killing the entire squad just straight up.
It was very much that they were introduced so that people would die.
Yeah, exactly. And they were around, I don't know, like 5 or 6 episodes.
But did you notice? Did you notice though? The one member of that squad who is like really interesting lived. The girl with the glasses.
Yeah.
The scientist. She could have she's part of that squad technically. But oh, how interesting that she was in a different place at that time and therefore was not killed.
Yeah.
I wonder if it
be
was
fair.
because she was incredibly popular.
That's true.
The way they introduced the characters in Attack on Titan, I actually even didn't know half the names from people who did die. So when the characters go, X and X died, I was like, which one's he? Oh no, did I just not pay attention? It's like I only know probably Aaron, Mikasa, and Armin and Levi.
It has
That's
a
it. I'm like,
huge,
oh God.
huge cast in the trainees.
Yeah.
I think
And
that
some
any
of
of
them,
them-
their character designs are so similar. Like, one of the guys who dies in that first swinging scene where Aaron dies,
Thomas,
unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
because like we had 3 or 4 people die in that one that were trainees. I honestly was confused because like the blonde-haired guy looked so much like one of the other blonde-haired guys that I thought they were the same character. And so when he showed up again, I'm like, wait, did he die? Like, I was just like, and of course I didn't remember names. I was like, well, who is, you know? It's like, well, so-and-so's dead. I'm like, who? Like, the whole thing with, what's his name? You said his name earlier. Not Marco dying. Thomas dying. Like, that whole thing, like, it's like, oh, wait, but Thomas was alive. And I'm like, was he? Like, who's Thomas?
Yeah.
To be fair, you know that scene in Attack on Titan where they showed the couple from the trainees? I thought one of them had died. And I was like, apparently not. No, only one of them died, not both of them. I was like, wait, who's who again?
Yeah, no.
You're gonna have to refresh it. It's like I just don't know anyone that's not like explicitly said their name multiple times. Like they have to like ram the names into my head because there's just too many.
And
too
I
fast.
think
I just can't keep track.
What bothered me and like the trainee couple with the death is that it was really only there for that like 30 seconds of kind of emotional, like, oh hey, they keep emphasizing, oh yeah, people die all the time. So many people die. Look, this couple, they're broken apart because this guy died. Except somehow the main characters never die. Never. And I'm pretty sure that that's just going to continue in the, what will be the second season, because it's going to happen.
I can break my overall problems, all of the problems I have with the show, down to 2 things, really. First of which ties into that, which is nobody dies. And the reason that nobody dies is because it's popular.
Yeah.
Now, as I hear it, this is all hearsay and, probably fan speculation or something, but this was inspired by the visual novel's Muv-Luv, and it was supposed to end like that a little while ago. It was. It was supposed to end. But it didn't. So he's been dragging it out since then because it's so popular, because he was under a lot of pressure.
Really? Yeah, I actually haven't heard that in regards to this.
It kind of flies around a bit. That's why I can't confirm it.
Well, no, because I'm relatively sure I read an interview with him, and he was very clear that it's going. Like, he has a place where it's going. The end is long decided. And they're heading towards it, and actually at a high speed. He seemed to imply that it wasn't going to go on for too much longer.
Yeah. But
again, that's who knows.
The other thing that I have heard, and I haven't read the manga, so I'm not sure, but I've heard that the direction is just a little bit crazy right now. Like, they abandon sort of like major plot points and plot arcs and just start something completely different, and you don't know why.
That's what makes me believe that this rumor has certain legs to it, because at least for a time, the manga and the anime both, they had a very clear forward direction and they were heading towards it, but then it kind of got confused for a little while. It felt like it kind of stumbled off and started treading water while he tried to figure out what he was doing.
Yeah. No, I disagree with that, especially with the series.
All right.
I disagree with that with the series because both the series and the manga are exactly the same in that point.
Okay.
There was no, how do I put it? There was, at least as far as like plot points go, they're virtually identical.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's actually very, like, who the female Titan is foreshadowed from way the hell back.
Pretty badly.
Actually, all of them, and who the Colossal and
all
the Titans are
also
foreshadowed.
Hey, I haven't guessed who they are yet.
I think
so.
I'm
They're
terrible.
clearly building towards it, like, if that makes sense.
I think there's a difference between foreshadowing and how best to describe this, making it so obvious that I could pick them out by like the 15th episode.
That is a fine line. It's very hard to foreshadow. Yet not
I must be in the
basically play your
minority
hand.
not being able to guess these Titans. I only can guess the female type, but I can't guess the other three types.
Here's how I can figure this sort of thing out. If you have a bunch of characters and you kill most of them off, you can usually get an idea of who is going to be important. And guess who was getting a lot of characterization and FaceTime with the main characters right at the beginning of the manga and the show.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All of the human Titans.
Well, here, we're not going to spoil who they are, but I'll say this. I'll say this. If you do know who the human Titans are, it actually makes it a lot of fun to go back and watch the series, because so much stuff makes more sense now.
Yeah.
In a very good way. It's one of those things that makes the rewatch a lot of fun if you know who the Titans are. That said, the real problem that I have with Attack on... Like, I think Attack on Titan actually is good, damn good, but not that damn good. It has a lot of it's good. The setting, the imagination, and the fact that, like, I actually rather enjoy the fact that the plot often gets derailed. Like, yeah, in the manga, absolutely. Like, they have this very set thing that they're doing, and then completely irrelevant, something happens that shifts everything. Like they had a very set goal, and then someone else has a completely different goal, which just collides, and then it spins wildly out of control, which I kind of liked, because that meant I couldn't predict what was going to happen. And so I liked that. I like it when I'm surprised, and it makes sense that I'm surprised, as opposed to me being able to pick everything out.
Seems like I'm going to be surprised when they show off all the Titans.
But it's not just that.
I think the thing is, the show is popular enough that a lot of the fans that are watching it probably have no idea, because they're really not used to, like, the kind of storytelling that might give them hints to who they are.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely true. But the big problem with Attack on Titan, the anime much more than the manga, pacing. Oh my god,
Yeah.
pacing.
I have a list of things. That was one of them on there.
Yeah, like as I have mentioned, like this is
Previously,
not an overstatement. There is a 22-minute conversation that, according to the timeline of the show, takes place in 1 minute. Like, they're like, all right, we're behind this smoke screen for 1 minute. What's our plan? 22 minutes later, they're still in the smoke screen. That, my
Time
friends,
goes
is a pacing
slowly
issue.
when you're conceiving a plan.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that is... You vastly underestimated how long, underestimated how long that smoke screen was going to last, huh? And it's all because Attack on Titan, let's face it, is a show that was trying to do a lot with a budget they didn't have.
True.
Oh, I thought it had a big budget.
It's big compared to a lot of anime, but
you
I'd
have
wager.
to remember what they're doing. Like, that the animation required to do those 3D
maneuver gear things.
gear
Oh
fights.
god, those are so bad when you notice them.
Those are that's what it is. That's what the anime cost is. And when you have to animate something like that, then having an entire 22 minutes of people standing around doing nothing but talking makes for a really good idea.
Yes.
Because that's how you fund it.
Well, yeah, and going on pacing, I think the other problem that really bothered me in terms of pacing was that every episode ended in a cliffhanger.
Everyone.
And I watching it weekly, I didn't do that. I marathoned through it, but I would just
watched weekly.
die. I would not be able to do that.
It was horrible weekly. And the fact that, like, this is one of those few things where I remember I was really annoyed when, Aaron bites it, right? He dies. He gets eaten. Mm-hmm. And, that's a cliffhanger ending. He's dead. And then next episode is a flashback.
Yeah.
So we've ignored that. And I'm like, okay. Surely now we're going to address this, right?
No.
Like the Battle of Trost arc is so long. I was like, oh my god, what are we doing? And to the point where I was like, that's it. I'm going to go read the manga. I cannot wait 6 weeks to get this cliffhanger resolved,
Yeah.
That is crazy. And the thing is, then this is again a pacing thing. They chose, for whatever reason in the anime, to do it in chronological order. That's not how it's done in the manga. The manga it starts at the beginning, just like the anime, but instead of going to training, it immediately goes to the Battle of Trost. And then throughout the Battle of Trost, it keeps jumping back to training stuff. Which means that the series, instead of basically, the series, the way it worked in the anime was standalone episode, 6-episode arc. Which is really weird, because it just changes up the pace that's established, as opposed to the manga, which is overall arc randomly interspersed with flashbacks to either training or whatever, or childhood. So it made much more sense, like as a flow style, in the manga, which was it's an interesting thing to compare.
I was going to say, it never seemed like a bad idea to tell a story chronologically. It never seems like a bad idea. I mean, like, obviously for a style and flair, you can obviously do the jumps between present, past all the time. But I just thought, I don't think it's that bad a thing to do it chronologically, but from the sounds of it, the way the disparity between the two seems quite large.
Yeah, it's just because it was very standalone-y, which I was like, oh, we're basically just going to get self-contained adventures in this war against Titans, right? Sure, these are the training camp adventures. They're all in the same training camp, but, they're largely unrelated. Like, this is the one where he learns how to use the gear, so it's all about the technology. This is the one where we see the exams. This is the one, this is the one where they enter basic training, that kind of thing, right? Like, like that was, so that's what I was expecting. And then we go into Cliffhanger Central for the next 6 or 7 episodes, and I was like,
yeah, which then repeats, the second half of the season with another 7 parts episode chain.
Yeah.
All of
anything good.
All of my problems come from a slightly different place, which is kind of well documented, but it was codified pretty well by Exile is his name these days. Attack on Titan uses a lot of violence, uses a lot of darkness and all of that, but it only does it to be edgy. It's...
the buzzword edgy and dark, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But Exile said it best when he said, Attack on Titan tries to be edgy, whereas Muv-Luv, my favorite thing ever, because I always mention it, was out to destroy you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's...
no, I agree. Attack on Titan definitely suffers from the same problem that Naruto had, which is when the sub-characters get too popular to kill off.
Mhm.
Like,
So,
don't get
yeah.
me wrong. I do not feel, nor do I advocate the killing of Mikasa or Eren or even Armin, although Armin is still kind of weak. Like, if those three somehow miraculously make it through every battle in the entire series, that's fine. They're the main characters, so that's kind of expected.
See,
But the fact that every other character is perfectly fine. like I was so excited about Attack on Titan when Eren bit it. I was like, did you just kill the main character?
yes!
This is gonna be great.
Ah, yeah. That was unfortunate.
Oh, no.
No. But I mean, I continue to like. I really like the characters. Armin is okay because he's still struggling to find out his place, where he is and what he should do. But Eren and Mikasa are fundamentally broken characters. And
Well, one
Yeah.
breaks the laws of physics, Mikasa. She seems to be a bit too OP.
Well, no, but that's the thing. She may be overpowered, but like in fighting skill, but we find out she's not the best by any means.
No.
She's just talented. But so I don't particularly find her overpowered. Some people are just
Yeah.
good, right? But
Yeah,
the
I mean,
thing with
especially the
her
way they
is
showed that scene.
she's not perfect. She is absolutely broken. Fundamentally cannot be fixed. Broken. She is completely codependent on Eren. She has no self-preservation skill. Lives for his will completely. Guys, she's yandere.
No, yeah, I actually, that was my other point, which I had, because I had written down a few things, like, oh, make sure to mention these. My other point was, the female lead. I just do not like Mikasa at all. And they have those flashbacks where they show, like Eren saved her, so she has some sort of attachment to him, but it's a little bit excessive.
Well, like by that point, by the time she even forms that attachment, she's already broken. It's the way she figures out to deal with being broken is basically become yandere. Kill for his sake. The thing is, she actually has measured response. She doesn't immediately jump to kill, but she has no self-worth of her own. In fact, like after his supposed death, the only reason she gets up to stop fighting is because she realizes that if she's dead, she won't remember him. And that's even more unbearable than living without him, she decides. Like, that's how codependent she is upon him. And Eren, on the other hand, is, vengeance.
Hey.
It's like, don't worry, guys, soon we'll have everything we want. We'll have friends, we'll have free world, we'll have nature, and vengeance.
Perfect. In fact, well...
And that's fine. But actually, them being broken is what makes them interesting to watch, in my opinion. I know how they're going to act, but that's the thing. You take this set character, you put them into a situation, and you see how they react naturally based on the character you have created. That's good writing. That's what good writing is. Instead of making the situation and making how it's going to turn out in advance, you just say, here is a strange situation. I wonder how this character I have established would react in that situation. And then you let the story go.
Oh, man.
That's good writing.
Wow.
That's how it works. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all of Attack on Titan is good writing. Some of it is contrived. But when it's good because of that. That's how they do it. It's good when they just take the character and say, go. Like, the whole thing, about Mikasa choosing revenge over being smart. Yes, that is exactly what she would do in that situation. It is not contrived that she would single-handedly try to kill the female Titan, and even though it's a really stupid idea. You know what I mean? As long as they act in character, I'm cool with it. I don't have to like a character to enjoy them. Like good old Tales of the Abyss. They spend 20 hours making you hate the main character. They make him the single most unlikable character in gaming history. Just so they can show you how he progressively changes for the next 60 hours. And redeems himself. Like, I don't like Luke at all for 20 hours. But I accept that, like I don't have to like a character to really think they're a good character in that sense.
Maybe you could say it's written well to make you hate the character. You could always think it that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we can all agree in the end anyway that Attack on Titan did give us Attack on Titan Abridged by Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
Which
we
made
only
me
got
enjoy
one
Attack on
episode.
Titan ever so much, like
Yeah.
infinitely times more.
And our bitches.
Especially Thomas. I finally understood who Thomas was thanks to Attack on Titan Abridged.
Oh,
Only because of
man.
Attack.
Nothing was better than the drill sergeant in that. The drill sergeant in that is the pinnacle of like
Oh,
comedy.
him and Armin are the best. Armin's actually pretty. Anyway, totally off topic, but yeah.
Oh no!
I just got episode
Still,
2.
my favorite line in that whole thing, far and away, is Aaron's speech to Jean, like where he just calls him like a loser and tells him to fuck off, and Mikasa's response is, "I totally want to have sex with you right now," and his response is, "Don't be gay, Mikasa."
Yeah, don't make this any more gay, Mikasa. Oh, it's beautiful.
Which is why when Team 4-Star really gets it right, that's how they get it right. Is that, like, while that is a very funny statement, it is also very true to Eren as a character. He certainly does not see Mikasa as a woman in any shape or fashion. You know? And that's the thing. Although they make the joke, although they turn it into a joke, it's still very true to the character in the abridged stuff. That's why Dragon Ball Z is so good, because the characters are pretty much true to what they really are, just in a more comedic light. Especially Vegeta.
Oh, I love Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Alright.
But yes, sorry. Abridged stuff.
Right.
That's fun
Yeah,
stuff.
Team 4-Star. Do another episode. God, we're waiting.
Oh, they can't. They got.
I know,
cease and
sadly.
desist.
I know. Look, don't break more dreams. So that leaves me to bat with my show that I'm pretty sure it wasn't as popular as the previous ones we've said here, but I still think it's a pretty big franchise, and it's Fate Stay Night. And I absolutely detest the shows on the simple basis that how on earth that every master of every servant happens to be in the same 1 mile radius of the main character. It just happens to be his local church dude, his best friend, his teacher, his sister, the strange sister he meets later on. It just all happens to be everyone you meet who happens to be a master of a servant. They're like, hey, Shiru, you remember me? It's like, oh yeah, I saw you at school yesterday. It's like, oh no, how's everyone here a master? Surely it doesn't make sense for every master to be in this one place. Sure, you'd have like these amazing characters or like people of substantial background rather than just people off the streets they found that's within a 1 mile radius of Shiru. And that just killed me. I couldn't like Fate Stay Night after like the first 5 reveals. I stopped enjoying it ever so much. It's such a cool concept as well. I really like the idea, and the Fate Stay Night anime just did not work with me at all.
Well, I think a lot
That's why we have Fate.
I think a lot of people are going to
sorry.
say, I think part of your problem is that you went with Studio Dean's 2006 anime,
It's the only Fate Stay Night anime last time I checked, okay?
at least for a
Did
little
you
while
remake?
more.
Yeah, exactly. As I was speaking, but I love Fate Zero because it just says whatever happened to Fate Stay Night probably didn't exist. So there's always that. But yeah, I can't enjoy Fate Stay Night whatsoever, and especially it's just too much of just convenient bullshit in my opinion. It's just too much. And I'm pretty generally an easygoing guy when it comes to anime, but for Fate, no, not for me.
I don't necessarily hold Fate in as high esteem as other people, so I can kind of see where that's
But
coming
it does
from.
seem very. I mean, it's popular enough to spawn off a lot of spin-off and games and such.
Yeah,
So.
that's more the visual novel that did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably, yeah. But hey, I was following on the words of other fans to say, hey, watch the Fate Stay Night. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And then I watched Unlimited Blade Works, and then it was not any better.
Well, you can go
Just
back
not.
and watch the new Unlimited Blade Works anime coming
Yeah.
out later,
I know, right?
which probably
I'm sure
won't
it'll be-
suck as hard as the Studio Dean anime.
I thought Ufotable did the movie.
Hmm?
Did they not? I thought Ufotable made the movie.
No,
Unlimited
the movie
Blade Works.
the movie was still Dean, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
was
was.
it?
It was still
Oh.
Dean.
Ufotable or whatever is making the new
Hey.
anime series.
Alright. Hey, Studio D not that bad. They made Call of Zombie. Call of Zombie was fun. Like, really fun. Like, probably too much
For every good anime that Studio Dean puts out, they put 2 crappy ones out that everybody disowns.
Maybe so. But yeah, for me, my choice is Fate Stay Night out of everything I could remember. And it's such a great concept, I like the idea, summoning these great heroes from past and lore into one giant arena to fight. It's just a shame Fate Zero is just so much better. I think I watched Fate Zero first, which might have been the problem why I hate Fate Stay Night. But regardless, I still hate Fate Stay Night
Yeah.
with every inch of my heart.
I think we're probably about on the same page with that. I saw Fate Zero. I'm like, oh, this was really good. And then I started to watch Fate Stay Night, and I'm like, I don't. This is ruining it for me. I'm just not gonna watch this.
Yeah, hopefully the remake would just solve everything.
Yeah.
I just want the anime of the actual games. They sound so much better anyway. But hey, that's just me. Anyway, we're running pretty long it seems, so I think it's time to say farewell. So, David, do you want to say anything last to say before we leave?
Just the usual. Name's Dex. You can find me on Dexomega.Kinja.com or on Ani-TAY.Kinja.com these days. At Twitter or on Twitter at Dexomega, blah blah blah. Come and see my stuff, I guess.
Right. Michael?
All right. Yep. I'm Michael. My account on Ani-TAY is Proton Storm, and see you around.
I'll see you around in the comment sections, will we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find you around there. Richard, I'm sure you're not too hard to find these days.
No, I'm Richard. I work at Kotaku. You can see my stuff up every Tuesday and Friday. I try to get at least an anime review or an anime-related article each day I work. You can find me online easiest on Twitter. I am biggest in Japan. And
No joke. No joke.
No. Except for the fact that it is quite literal. I am actually 15 feet tall, and it's like walking amongst ants here. I don't know.
You have a certificate. You even got a certificate,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
just what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sources tell me.
Yep.
Sources.
Word on the vine grape. Sorry. Just
Although that is fun joke. I have hit my head on doorways before. I'm not a tall man. I'm 5'9". I'm really 5'9". I have hit my head on doorways.
All right, I'm 6'3".
impressive.
Can't wait.
Yeah. If you ever have fun,
Right.
if you ever come to Japan and you're tall at all, go through Ueno Station. So a lot of museums there, so a lot of tourists go through there. Big park, nice place.
yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it has
sure.
it has like this weird section of the station where the ceiling is probably about 5'5".
How does that
Sounds great.
function?
Nothing will make you feel more like a giant than walking through Ueno Station. It's fantastic.
Great way to boost your self-esteem, it seems.
Well, and it's so funny when you'll just see the large portions of the Japanese population just walking like normally, and you're like, I'm so big, crawling through this cave.
Is this like Ariati all over again? It's I can't remember it's Ariati all over again.
Yeah, it's fun.
That leaves us me. I've been Ken, the host. You'll find me as FruityDrinks on Ani-TAY, but I've lately become a ghost. But that's fine. I'm around still. I'm still lurking every now and then.
That's me too.
And, yeah, exactly. So thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe and give us a nice glowing review if you'd liked it. If otherwise, please say so. We'll do our best to address any problems like that just then.
All right.
Until next month, this has been the Ani-TAY Podcast, episode 6.
Although one very important thing before you leave, I'm sure we upset a lot of people, so I want to be very clear. Direct all hate mail to Dexomega@kinja.com.
Oh yes, that's it. That's the one.
Dexomega@kinja.com. So yeah, just go to that page, Dexomega.kinja.com, and leave your comments there. And I promise we will read every single one
So remember,
and get back to you.
We didn't like Terra, we didn't like Akame Kill, we didn't like Aldnoah.Zero.
No, I think we're more or less
that's
just
fine.
mentioning my triad against Aldnoah.Zero.
Yeah, so just remember Dexomega. That All concerned should be sent there.
Can't wait. See everybody.
Goodbye.
All right, see you then.
Bye.